Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please give a warm welcome to the hosts of the SWA Happy Hour, Dom and Chris.
Ooh, man, it's fucking hot.
It's about time you showed up. I've been waiting. You will regret this. I will make you suffer.
How's it going?
What happened to the playback? Come on, seriously, guys. Where's the playback? Ah, screw this. I ain't doing it anymore. It's hot, man.
I totally forgot about that video, dude. That was so funny.
Absolutely. Wasn't that good times?
Yeah, absolutely. were.
How are you doing? And I did that on purpose because we talked about we're going to feature the music tonight of our good friend Hugh Caldwell.
Nice.
Hugh Caldwell is a great guitarist, as you'll see through the various songs we play tonight, but the dude's also got a great sense of humor. And when Dom and I said we should do a blooper reel, he was like, I'm all about it. He wasn't sure what to do, but luckily Felix the cat helped him out and started him off on the right foot. And he's like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, exactly. Another
And he
good,
just-
another good reason to have a pet.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, I feel like crap.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, Dom and I have chatted, and he does not feel well, so Dom is going to
Yeah, I made
short
bail,
time
yeah.
us a little bit tonight. He's not going to go the full
Well, I
duration.
was already like, I was telling you guys earlier, like, I'm going to take the weekend off. But not just because I'm tired, but no, around noon, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
we just keep passing the same cold around in our house.
Yeah. Well, and you got kids in school, and of course, they
Yeah.
bring in something new and exciting every couple of weeks. So,
Oh, yes, always something new and exciting.
yeah.
But yeah, I figured I'd pop in and say hello first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, this is my third night in a row. I'm a little punch drunk.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, we'll go ahead and announce it now. It was going to be on my chat tonight anyway, so
Yeah.
that kind of saves time. That kind of worked out. So if you're in Dom's chat,
Head over
love
to
you.
Chris's.
Get the hell out of there. Come
Yeah.
over to mine.
You don't want to be
And-
here.
And Dom will
I
place
haven't
the link.
Lysoled yet.
Yes. Dom will place the link in his
Oh yeah,
chat.
I should do
you
that.
can- So you can come find us.
Let me do that right straight away, Captain.
Straight away.
Straight away.
All right, and then we'll start with the first topic of the evening.
Ooh,
That is-
what's the first topic?
We're going to review our week. All
Okay.
the things that we did. Started with, I kind of was like you on Sunday. I didn't feel sick, but I just was tired.
Right.
So I started the week off with Rockin' Rabbit Holes and Lurked, and just, and it was fun because they were talking about frogging. Have you heard of frogging?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know anything about it, but apparently it's a thing. And so that was very interesting and informative. And then Carl the Sasquatch shows up. So he chatted with Pole Vault, and then Xerxes X-Wing showed up. So we had Carl and the Metal Penguin. So that was entertaining. And we learned all about frogging.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice indeed.
And they've got a new guest that appears fairly regularly, this Carrie. And she's hilarious. She is funny as hell. So
Oh yeah, I
So I
saw
was
her
enjoying
that last weekend.
yeah.
Very funny indeed.
Yeah, she's a hoot. So if you guys are not checking out Rockin' Rabbit Holes,
Yes.
just
Everyone,
start
follow
your week with a little comedy relief and learn something.
Camellia is our chat crossing guard. She's directing traffic from
Yes,
one chat
over
to the next.
here,
Thank you very much,
go.
Camellia.
Appreciate that. Yeah, ignore the fact that Camellia is upside down. Just follow her directions regardless.
Exactly, yeah. She has nice feet, so we have that. Yeah, no, and I said that was cool. And then I obviously overdid myself a little bit on Saturday night,
Yeah.
which kind of started the whole week.
Saturday night was fun.
It was, I had a lot of fun. I had a little too much fun.
Yeah.
I came upstairs at one point. My wife was like, "Oh, you're enjoying yourself this evening." I was like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah. I showed up a little late, but I had a
Hey,
good
DJ.
time. And everybody was having a good time. Everybody wanted to keep playing, so I
Mhm.
was led to believe. So we did a pop-up, which we had never done before, but it was kind of fun to do. And we would have gone a little longer, but Dom decided we were done.
I did make that. Apparently, I made that decision.
In your brain, and your fingers went, whatever you say.
You know what it is? When you're hopping around from chat window to chat window, you kind of
Yes.
forget where you were. And I was like, "All right, I'm leaving," and I just hit end stream rather than leave studio.
Yeah. Oops. But that was
Yeah.
fine.
Or that's the story I'm telling. Maybe I was
That's
just
it.
like, "Those bastards ain't gonna be there without me."
F them. We don't know what happened, but something happened. And
No,
there
it
we
was
are.
me. It was 100% me.
Yeah, no, we know you did it. I just, it was only a question of whether you accidentally kind of did it or accidentally on purpose.
That yeah,
or
that
with
every
malice of
person,
forethought.
that every one person will come to their own conclusion.
That's right. The evidence.
And
so
I'm
then-
good with whatever you decide.
Yeah. So Monday I hung out with Axe for a little while on his show. Always entertaining, never boring on Axe. And then
Hey, David.
Tuesday, I didn't do anything Tuesday. I don't know.
Well, you went to hockey, right? With your kid?
Yeah, that's right. That's why I didn't see any streams. I went, Kay and I went to the Avalanche game. And they won because they always win when we go live in person. Now, of course, they went on the road to Detroit. It's Thursday night. They lost in overtime because Thursday night. And then yesterday, had the various streams on, and that was good. You know, it was with I was on Axe for a little while last night, but I was kind of
Cool.
I've been working. I'm on a deadline, so I'm just kind of background music and lurking while I'm working. So, and then this afternoon I was there, and I know you were there, and I think at least some of the other people in the chat were there.
At Jade, yeah.
At Jade's show.
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow. Just, yeah, I sent her a little note because I was just, you know, it wasn't a normal interview show, and that's what she said, but it really was. She basically interviewed herself and said, here's who I am, here's where I came from, here's what I'm all about. I thought it was just fabulous.
Pretty good, yeah.
That will segue into when Dawn leaves. I've got a little topic that we can talk about tonight, but it was just outstanding, and I really enjoyed it. The thing I most enjoyed was we've heard those songs before. She's played them, and they're beautiful songs and everything, but in the context of how her life was, and it just made them that much more pertinent, that much more powerful. Just was outstanding. Really, really enjoyed it.
Really well done.
So what I'm telling you people over there in the chat, if you did not see Jade's show live today, go look at the replay. You need to see the replay and understand someone who pulls the best out of us as artists and does all these interviews. Go find out what makes her tick and how she got to where she is. And I'm not going to be a spoiler killer here, but she announced something that I think is going to be pretty cool going forward. So I'm going to go check that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's say hi to who all's in our chat. Sandy Kirk was the opener tonight. Sandy set up the tables and got out the solo cups.
Thank you very much,
Sandy. Appreciate that. And then MJ was next in the door. Esperanto, how are you?
Hey, MJ.
And of course, Camellia from Down Under. Good eye. And JCT. Always great to see you. Charlie Gabalden. Dom Torgrosa. You know that guy? Is he all right?
I don't like him too much. Kind of pain in the ass.
Yeah, he's fun to hang around with. DJ Big Red 81. Always good to see you, DJ. And David from Live to Fly channel.
Mr. David.
Good to see you. And the Hubs. Yeah, and you're right. It's not what it used to be, although Detroit is ascending again, and, you know, it's going to be good. I'm sorry what we did to your Canucks on Tuesday, but
no, you're not.
Yeah, not at all. It had to happen. And another guy from Down Under.
What's up, Cole Ager?
How you doing, man? Good to see Coldy, and of course our good friend
Michael Songs,
who is picking and grinning, because that's about what he's got to pick and grin about right now. He is suffering some of the physical issues that Dom fought his way through, so. He's seen some doctors and hoping to get Michael feeling a little bit better here soon.
Yeah, and if it makes you feel any better, Michael, we just found out that our insurance has yet to pay the hospital bill of like $180,000. They sent us a bill.
Yeah, that's going to make him feel better.
Yeah.
Read the room, Don. Yikes.
No, that's why I'm doing it. Just, piling on. That's what I'm doing.
The insurance companies are just, they drag their heels is what they do.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It is totally ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Ridiculous. I'm sorry, even if I wouldn't stress, even if they said we're not going to pay it for whatever ungodly reason they would do that, I would just tell the hospital, okay, I'm poor. I'll pay $10 a month until it's paid off. Goodbye.
Well, and here's a little thing. Should you run into this, they send a bill and it's science fucking fiction. go in there and go, look, I work for a living. Nobody has this kind of money. What can we settle this for? And
No, I would never do that because if I would rather pay $180,000 at $10 a month
well, yeah.
than come to a realistic settlement. You know, you're just offering something equally as insane.
Yeah.
But now the insurance will pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, they just play that stupid game they do.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. I should have thought of that. Oh,
Yeah.
that was wrong of me.
Yeah. And Gary is right.
But
Yeah.
you did get your car back. That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll do, Gary. I'll just buy me a hospital instead.
Canadian, go gouge Canadians. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Yeah, for 180,000. I mean, a couple years ago, before the inflation, you could have bought all of Canada for 180,000. But now you can only buy parts of it.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I had fun on Michael's channel last night. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
those who
Mr.
don't know,
Mike.
Michael was doing what he had to do, and Dom, being the good dude that he is, just said, I'll start your show, I'll run the stream, get there when you get there. And that's exactly what happened. And the two of them were fantastic. And I wandered onto the stream at some point and hung out with them. Not live, because it was the middle of the week, and I, as a rule, don't play during the week. I only play weekends.
They gave all kinds of stupid reasons, Sandy. Typical insurance reasons.
Yeah.
He used to have secondary coverage. I'm like, no, we don't have secondary coverage. I used to have the medical insurance for the family, and then I left that job, so now my wife does. So that was it. And they were like, they said, well, you were supposed to get pre-certified. I said, so when you paid the bill for the surgeon who recommended to you that I have surgery, and then did all the steps, in between, and now when you're actually paying for the physical therapy post-operatively, you're telling me I needed to be there. That's bullshit. That's just
Yeah,
your
that's
guys' talk.
garbage.
And then, of course, they asked the question, well, we weren't sure if it was a work-related incident. Is it? I'm like, it drives me insane.
Yeah, exactly. I got a paper cut. Colorful Energy, how are you?
Hey, see,
We are rife with Canadians and Australians tonight, which is great. And speaking, here's another Canadian.
so we're going to have to change the name of the show to the Happy Hour, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, OE67,
Hey, bud.
what's going on?
Yep.
Been seeing your name pop up all over the place.
It's fantastic.
It
Yeah.
depends on how much you ate the night before and what you want to leave for him there, Gary.
Yeah,
The hospital is actually very good.
yeah, that's good.
Oh, wait, what did Michael say? You went through it so fast.
Oh, Michael was just saying,
Is there some-
yeah, call a taxi. Because, get an Uber.
Yeah.
Way
Uh-huh.
cheaper than an ambulance,
Oh, an ambulance is like, you call an ambulance, they're like,
It's
okay, we know we
ridiculous.
got him.
Yeah, we'll drive them around for a while.
Exactly.
Exactly. And just a reminder for our late arrivers, we're on my channel tonight because Don will be leaving us a little early tonight. So, and it
Mhm.
was my turn on my channel anyway. So come hang out.
He sounds so, it was my turn anyway. Is
Well,
that
I'm
what
just
we've
saying,
come
it just
to?
worked out nice.
Is that what it's come to, Chris? Hey, Ian, what's going on?
Yeah, we're sharing custody of the show.
That's what it feels like
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's my weekend. Don't screw me on my weekend.
No, because if it was a true divorce, it would be like, okay, it's Chris's show this week, and I'm not
Yeah.
allowed to be around. No,
Yeah,
we have to
exactly.
have this crazy contraption where
Yeah, you'd have to be 500 feet.
exactly.
Yeah, and that's, if you didn't see it, yeah, Dom was right there in the living room with the fireplace and everything. It was
Yep.
fantastic.
And I still say my lighting was better than his. Hey, Boltonator, what's going on?
Yeah, we're
You by chance from Canada?
Holtonator is from Dallas, Texas.
Oh,
which
okay.
Is
Then
not like
not-
Canada
not-
at all.
Not remotely.
Artstrology, how are you?
Hey,
Well,
what's
there
going
you
on,
go.
dude?
Yes, follow his advice or don't.
Yeah.
And
Declaring stuff just takes so much energy.
it really does.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, there you go. See, Sandy knows. She worked at a hospital all her life. She knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bill is science fiction, man.
You know, Gary, you're going to have to watch to answer that question.
Yeah, you have to check it out. Yo, dude, there he is, Ian's Guitar Shack.
Yeah. I did not decide to become a home musician so I could be standing.
Yeah, yeah. I want to sit on my keister and comfortable.
Hey, Steve-O.
I ran around stages for a long time. I'm kind of over that at this point
Yeah.
in my life. Good to see Steve-O.
What's going on in the rock garden?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
It's
So I found a really good guitar tech today.
nice.
Rudy's Music in Scarsdale, New York.
Okay.
Um,
Always good to have a good guitar tech.
The owner was there. He's Rudy, old, he's like a 75-year-old Italian dude. Very
Well,
nice.
there you go. You guys had lots to talk
Store
about.
was beautiful. When they checked out, I brought my tailor in. The tech actually came out and sat with me, and we talked about the guitar, which was like, normally that doesn't. They write it on the tag, kind of thing. So he was like, he said the neck was beautiful. They think they have to shim the bridge, that the action was way too low.
Okay.
But I decided, so I have a lot of guitars, right? And I've been hanging on to them, going, maybe one day my kids will play. As the days go by, I don't think that's going to happen. So I was like, these things are going to all hang around collecting dust until I croak, and then they're going to, either my family's going to sell it somehow and probably not know what they're worth, get nothing for it. And so I could either do that or I can start offloading them now and get something really special. So
There you go.
I have my eye on a Taylor 814 Builder's Edition.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go through some of my electrics and trade them in for credit. And
Yeah, no, that's a good way to go.
So I may as well have something I can enjoy now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I did for
Did-
my semi-hollow body and
Yeah.
loved it. So
I could, Michael. I sure could. I
yeah,
won't, but I sure could.
that's
And if I
right.
was
It's-
going to give them
it's in
to
the
anyone,
realm of
it would be you.
possibility.
Yeah.
It's not a zero possible. It's just very, very low. But yeah, the
Excuse
music
me.
store that I got my semi-hollow, I'm on their Facebook page, and the Firebird that I played the other day, which I loved. I figured out why I loved it. It's a 64, and they only want $1,000 for it, which is nothing for a vintage Firebird. Like, it's more than I'm willing
Okay.
to pay. But I mean, that axe was, and it was really in good shape. I mean, especially for a guitar that old. Yeah, it was pretty nifty.
A picture of
thing.
what? What do you want to see a picture of? Cold Acre, the guitar I want to get or the guitar I'm going to get rid of?
One of those.
That's like
And that's-
3 extra buttons.
And that's kind of where I'm at, Live to Fly, because my wife, observant gal that she is, she was down the other day, and she's kind of looking in my office, and she goes, that's a new guitar, isn't it? And I said, yeah, the one that, I've been talking about, I ended up trading it in because I didn't they weren't offering a lot of cash for it, but I basically traded straight across for this one. Cost me $50, and I got a set of strings out of it. And she goes,
Uh-huh.
I like that guitar. And then I played it for her for a second. She goes,
Yeah, it's a nice one.
I really like that guitar. She walked out. She was happy, and I didn't break the budget and get in trouble or anything. So it was a win-win-win.
Oh, you have to tip the garbage dude's astrology.
I always do.
My garbage men, there could be a hand sticking out of my garbage pail. They're taking it, You got to treat your garbage guys good.
Got to take care of them. Hey, Chad Freeman, what's up, man? Good to see ya. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if it's definitely if I do, it's gonna be a really like it'll be the most expensive guitar probably I ever bought. But I don't know if it's gonna be like a Taylor or a Martin. I am gonna do a much better comparative test because to tell you the truth, I so often like playing the Martin more than the Taylor.
Yeah. No, you gotta again play the guitar that sounds right, feels good to you. That's the one you want, whatever it says on the headstock. That's my thing. That's pretty funny. Yeah, your youngest is what, like 8?
8, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, tap the brakes. Not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. But still, what's that damn ancient nerd?
Yeah, my wife noticed it that week because and the other one was not out. It had been its case and everything. She's like, "Yeah, it's not the telly." You're right. It is not. There you go. Yeah, look at. I mean, with people like Charlie Gabaldon in the chat, Dom, you can't go wrong. He's gonna just take your Taylor and play it for 3 months and make sure it's okay. And
I know all these people offering to
what a
help.
guy.
All so generous. Thank you.
Well, I mean, in fairness, remember when Papa Tom threw us that curveball and we were going to help him out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When he did it die after
you were going to take
hey
his Les
guys,
Paul.
I have the big C.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I don't love him, I hate him.
Yeah, I know.
God, remember that? I mean, we
freaked out.
were all freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean that big C. I meant COVID. I'm like,
There is no big C.
there's only one big C, you asshole.
Yeah, COVID. Even back then was a little C. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you
if
might
it
as well
wasn't
say,
true,
I've got a
then-
bad cold.
Yeah. That was so funny.
Yeah. Do you want us to just wait for you, Boltonator?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Everyone, just
Okay.
freeze in place.
Yeah. Hang out.
Boltonator has to go tinkle.
Yeah. Or something like that. Or feed his dog.
Oh, and a positive thing today. So I was actually taking my car to the mechanic about that weird thing that was happening with the heater blower. It stopped.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking maybe something must have got in there and was rattling around, but it's gone.
It
So I was like,
dropped out?
hoo-hoo.
Okay. Yeah, that's good because they
Yeah.
have to tear everything apart. Now, see,
Yeah.
that's cool, Coldacre. Look at that. Gave stuff to the kid so he could enjoy it. Watch you guys
That's
do
cool.
it. That's a cool thing to do.
Well, my
Absolutely.
youngest said he wants I have a cherry red Stratocaster with a white pick guard. He was like, I may never play dead, but I love that guitar. Can I have it? I'm like, yeah, that one's yours.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I'm very blessed in that respect because my wife is into music, into musicians and everything. She can tell a lot of the differences, and she's bought me several of my guitars. Certainly all the ones in the last couple years. So, she, I take care of her, and she takes care of me. And again, that's what in business school back in the 80s we used to call that the win-win.
Yeah, other than my wife asks you, like, if you don't play them, if we can hang them in the family room. So I'm going to hang a few up too.
Absolutely. In answer to your question, Papa Tom is just, dealing some life. He's doing a little bit of music again. He kind of had a period where he just took off. He was dealing with some family stuff and, just wasn't in the right frame of mind. And that happens to all of us, I think, at some point. And so, but
he just recently did a collab with Lemansky. We talked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's starting to come out of. I mean,
Yes.
it wasn't. I wouldn't say they just had a family thing. Their whole family had a major.
Major. Well,
Well,
and that's yeah. I
you know,
want to
so.
be. I don't want to talk out of school, but yeah, it was serious, and the family had to pull together, and it was devastating for all of us, and he just
Yeah.
wasn't in a good headspace to be in music, and completely understandable. So
He's coming around.
yep, indeed. Yeah, isn't that nice? I mean, I'm very blessed. I have a wonderful wife in that respect.
He's very nice.
It is very nice.
Very
So-
nice indeed.
We're going to get to this tomorrow night
Request Fest.
on Chad and Clay's channel, Request Fest. So you go, here's the rules. Unlike some shows where you go, hey, play me, please play me. You cannot request yourself. You have to request other people that you know in the community and request the music of theirs that you like. So that's what's happening tomorrow night on Clay and Chad's show. Starts at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
No,
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. my time.
Just like it says right there.
Yeah, thank you. I was doing the math to translate it because it was all about me.
Oh, that's okay.
Comes on
Hey,
at 6
Rhodey's
p.m.
Jam Cave.
Yeah,
How
Rhodey
bizarre.
had a nice new jam. Put up a Molly Hatchet song that they did. She put it up today or yesterday. But I'm a big Molly Hatchet fan. And they did a great job with it. And they were playing their Firebirds, so that was cool.
Mm.
I did. Yeah, Request Fest is very cool. And so that's what's going on Friday. And then Saturday, the usual shows.
The huge.
And then we're back to Sunday, Rockin' Rabbit Holes. So that's the week in review and the week going forward. So now we've talked about it.
And I think somewhere in there I played on a Tuesday night. Thanks.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Because I was at the game, it never happened.
I guess that's true. I would do the same thing.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot totally about it.
No, it's
That's why I was struggling. It's like, something happened Tuesday. What happened Tuesday? And then I went, well, I went to the game. Yeah. Duh. I
Oh,
bet it was
speaking of
wonderful.
food, right? We were talking about this earlier. So
And
my
Chad,
my
it's like they
wife
know
took the
us.
kids out with some of their friends, and she took them out for pizza, and I had to take my kid to Boy Scouts, and I was like, I guess she ain't cooking tonight. No, I didn't say it that way.
Yeah.
No,
No, because you're still alive.
Yeah, it's true. You'd see if I ever said I have a big imprint of a frying pan on my face. But she made me split pea soup and grilled cheese like I was 15. If I could have had some Fritos on the side, I would have just called the mom. It was so delicious, though.
Yeah. Grilled cheese is amazing.
And then Michael Songs goes and says, I want to know what kind of bread and cheese you use. And I was like, I come from the day when grilled cheese was only made with like white bread and American cheese. That's grilled cheese. I don't do that fancy stuff. On a baguette with 3 different types of cheese.
Yes. With the Gruyere, the mozzarella, and no. Now,
No, I want
can-
American that comes out of the stupid plastic wrap.
Yeah, I don't eat that. That's
No, I
because-
like the deli one.
Yeah, that's what I buy, the Sargentos or the equivalent. But I did learn a new fancy grilled cheese thing, which I may do, which would be nice with a homemade soup. But so split pea soup,
I love split pea soup.
I do too. It's one of the few things my dear late grandmother on my mother's side, I can see where my mom never learned to cook because her mom was a terrible cook. But she did make a split pea soup that was pretty decent. And I used to like that. Did it have the little ham bits?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotta have the little ham bits, right?
Yeah.
Not really split pea soup if it doesn't have it. So that's where I developed the taste for split pea soup. And I didn't like peas at that time. Now, of course, I love peas, but back then,
Yeah, avocado toast, that's big out here.
yeah, it's beef. I'm sorry. I like avocados a lot. Avocado toast is not special. I'm not into it. The avocado honestly has to be right on the borderline of turning brown and going bad to spread it well on toast.
All we are saying is give peas
a chance. Did you notice how coordinated Dom and I were on that? I mean,
No,
we were
well, we
sync.
were just like Kiss in the early days.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
It's a good soup. I like soups.
Yeah.
Minestrone. Hey, you make a nice minestrone.
Minestrone is a nice. And see, I'm with you. I make a killer good guacamole. Love guacamole. Avocado, I keep them around a lot of times for salads. They're pretty versatile. They're healthy as hell, but the whole avocado toast thing, because all these millennials and all those Gen Z pricks put it on really hard bread, and it's kind of
Yeah.
it's like that's not really toast. It's avocado on a brick.
No, I mean, I get it. What it is, it's a bunch of healthy people wanting to say, hey, we're important too, and ultra pumping their type of, because they can't eat like bacon, egg, and cheese for whatever
Well,
reason.
And that's
They're like,
fine.
oh no, this is just as delicious. No, it's not. No, it's not,
It's not.
at all.
It's
It
fine.
may be good. It
It's
could be
good.
good. It's not as good as the thing.
It's never going to beat a poached
Right.
egg and holiday sauce with a little Canadian bacon on there. On a yum. Yeah, who doesn't love grilled cheese? I mean, grilled cheese is
Yeah.
amazing, and there's no bad way to have grilled cheese.
No. I mean, I've had bad grilled cheese, and it's usually fancy grilled cheese.
Well, that's it. You can screw it up. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
question.
Like
but-
rather than just butter or mayo, the bread, they put some kind of noxious, spray on it that has,
Oh yeah,
like-
no,
that kind of crap.
no good. Got to be just butter, or the fancy one I saw, which I'm gonna try, is you butter it per normal. You use a little thicker toast.
Yeah,
and
well,
then
I
you
definitely.
Parmesan cheese and
Mm.
get it to pat it down, and then go ahead and grill that, and then put it under the broiler with the cheese on the two, and then you put them together. And it's like that looks like I'm going to try that. That looks good.
Mm. Definitely thick toast. We call it Texas toast.
Texas toast. I keep
Yeah.
Texas toast on hand because that's
It's
what I
better
make.
it's better for like all sandwiches because it holds up.
Exactly. It's great for French toast. It's great for
Oh
grilled
my
cheese
God,
sandwiches.
it's the only way. That or challah bread. Challah
Challah.
is
Challah
really
bread
good
is
French
good.
toast too.
Yeah, French bread, which French bread is amazing, but it's one because the way it's made, it gets really hard very quickly.
Yeah. Well, no, what
makes
we
it
always
great for
do is like,
croutons.
because they're like 4 feet long, we usually just get one, cut it in half, shrink wrap, and then freeze the other half. But sometimes I actually prefer French bread over Italian bread because you can just cut like small pieces and just butter like the top.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's less work.
Yes.
Italian bread's is commitment sometimes.
You got to be serious
Mm,
on your Italian bread. Because them Italians are serious.
we like our bread.
What's not to like?
It's good stuff. Apparently, Charlie likes synchronized swimming. That's very
Well,
good, Charlie.
he was said, he said we did good. We were like synchronized swimmers.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Real. Okay.
Yeah. No, we
Thank you,
were, I'm
Charlie.
telling you, you can check the replay. We were
I'm
moving.
going to check the replay. I promise, Chris. I will be looking that up.
Yeah. As soon as this is over,
It could be our new.
our new thing.
Thing.
Yeah.
Our new thing.
If
Yeah.
we think about it, we won't be able to do it.
Yeah. No, I've had a grilled cheese with mayo on the outside, and it is really delicious. It is
That
good.
makes, mayo's an emulsion, and it's,
Yeah.
it's
I'm a-
nice for that.
Just like oven fried chicken. You do it with like mayonnaise on the outside,
Yeah.
and then you dip it, and then you just put it in the oven, and it's pretty good because it gives extra fat to it.
Yeah, a little extra fat, crisps it up a little bit. So these are all good things.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Yeah, now see if we try and do it again, we won't.
No,
be able
be
to.
all messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides, we're not feeling it. We had, come on. It was, you had to do it because
It was a moment.
give peas a chance.
Yeah.
That's a once in a lifetime. That
Yeah.
would probably go in, the happy hours, top 100 chat moments. That would
Yeah.
be on there.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? All we have to do is get 97 more, and
Yeah.
then we can do it.
And that's on you people.
Yeah.
If the show sucks, don't look at us.
We're merely the conduits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if the wires get crossed, that's. Hey, we're speaking of grilled cheese, and Mr. Cheddar Pepper
Of course.
Prepper shows up.
Mhm.
It's like, saying Beetlejuice 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Top 10,
So I took
maybe.
my kid and his friend to Boy Scouts tonight, and I was kind of laughing to myself. I'm like, this is kind of like early doomsday preppers.
Mhm.
It's really what they're living
Be
out in the
prepared.
woods. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, that's the thing. A little.
They're going to go on their first overnight hike in March.
Okay, that'll be
It's
fun.
like, I'm running a police report on all you people first. I just want to make that clear.
As well you should, given their shady history. But yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever. I mean, we've always joked about government cheese. I don't know that I've actually ever had any. They probably fed it to me in cafeterias over the years, and I just didn't know it. But
Yeah,
never
I don't know.
intentionally. bought
I
or-
assumed I must have because I was in the army and that's
Oh, yeah, you
run
got
by the
go-
government. But
you-
I remember the cheese being very delicious. I love the
Well-
food at the mess hall.
Well, they probably, because, it's a lot cheaper to source that kind of stuff locally. They were probably buying German cheese. So, yeah, it would have been great. Yeah, get a big panel and sing Kiss songs. You know what?
Yeah.
That could happen. You never know.
You lived on a farm, David, huh?
There you go.
Who knew?
Who knows? Go to the farm now. There's a flaw in the matrix. Yeah, no question. There always has been. So you said you're taking off Friday and Saturday. Just gonna lie low, rest up.
Yeah, I
Which is a
think
good
so.
call.
Yeah.
Gonna work on any music?
Maybe. Probably
Maybe.
not, though.
Yeah, we got to get you back on the DAW. Got to get you back in the seat.
Yeah.
Doing some dawing. Because I'd love to see you kind of like bounce around. Here, I'm doing some live. I'm doing some songwriting. Yeah, I've recorded a song. I've done a video. Great. I'll do that again in 3 months. But,
Mhm. Well, I was very close to it. But then all the new stuff going on with work. So
yeah.
I'd have to give up live streaming time to do recording time. But I like hanging out with you people. So eventually it will all pan out, There's
Yeah.
definitely things I want to do. I have been going through my DAW and I've been tagging. You'll hear every Tuesday, you'll hear something from my DAW. We're kind of really close. It just needs a little something. And I think those are going to be the first things I try to attack. Whether
I think that's good.
ask someone to sing something to it or do this or that, but just to finish them off.
Yeah. That's good. I think this is a fantastic question. So, as a panel, let you and I discuss and let's get the chat involved. What's the moment for you as a guitar player when you said, oh, I'm starting to figure this out. This is starting to make sense to me.
Oh, I do. Me, I was young. I was lucky growing up. The drummer of my band's father owned a recording studio, Flying Z, on Long Island, New York. So we were, 16-year-old kids, and we rehearsed in a honest to God recording studio with an engineer on duty and stuff. And we would like a lot of bands would get, what do they call it when, a band would hang out and if there was an hour from, one group came into the next, they
Right.
would record then at a much discounted rate. So that's
Yeah.
we were allowed to record that way in between. And there's Jim. Yes, he can tell you. And we recorded this one
Hey, Jim.
song one time. I think it was called Alive or Dead. The guy who sang in the band wrote it. And I remember doing this guitar solo, and everyone in the band thought it was really cool. It was like crazy vibrato stuff, and that stands out as a moment in my time when I thought, well, maybe I am pretty good.
Yeah. I think for me, it was just one of those things where I was basically picked up the bass and I was learning to play bass and guitar almost simultaneously. I was leaning heavy on the bass, but everybody knows you can't. Playing bass by yourself sucks. You got to be playing in a band. So when I wasn't playing with a band, I would play on guitar. And at some point for me, because I've always played by ear, my ear just engaged and I was really hearing everything. And I don't think there was a magic thing. It was just, for me, it was just practice and really learning how the instrument sounded and everything. And then one day it just started to fit together and I went, oh, okay. Now this makes sense. Here's where these notes are and here's how they work together, and okay. So
Camellia says, I'm self-taught learning to Pink Floyd's Is There Anybody? There was the moment I loved picking. Oh, that's very cool.
yeah, absolutely. And then
That's very
David
cool
right
indeed.
below. No, see, that's very cool as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of us all have, even if we can't do it well, we all know the basic Travis method, and then we kind of morph it. I'd say mine is kind of a hybrid between that and, my own kind of limitations. We all probably steal the basis of traffic picking and then just take it in different directions.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. For me, a band that I really, played along with was ZZ Top and Pink Floyd simultaneously, and especially since both those bass players were very good. But the main reason they were so good is they were like, I've got a job to do, and that's to lay in the pocket and set everything up for everybody else, and I would just sit there and groove along with them, and that's when it really started clicking for me. It's like, okay, here's how music fits together. The drums have this job to do. The bass player has this job to do. Here's what the guitar player is supposed to do. And when that started clicking all the elements together, that's when it really came together for me. Yeah, and it is really cool.
Michael, we know you know what it is. You went to a party and someone made you do it for hours on end, and they left you there. You've told that story, my friend.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really had a great ear. That's why I was never really great in cover bands. It takes me too long to learn songs. I can't just hear it and duplicate it well.
Mm. Yeah, that's easier for me on bass and guitar in some ways, but
well, yeah.
But
I'd say most soloists generally have a very good ear.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it. Yeah, and that's not all bad. I started when I was 17, so I wasn't a whole lot younger than you.
Yeah, I was I don't know, 13 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's funny because you know we musicians all speak the same language musically. Sometimes we don't know what stuff is called, or we call it different things, and yeah. So I mean, he knew what it was. He's been doing it. He just didn't know its name.
Well, Michael Songs who primarily finger picks is a very orthodox finger picker, and I'd say, just like all of us, he kind of developed his own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's what y'all do. I mean, here I'll put this back up. They can improvise most, of course, because
Well,
you're not whoever, and your background's different and everything. So you just want it to sound right and sound like people go, "Oh, you're playing whoever."
well, that's where you say, "This is my version." This is my, so it's I'm making it my own, yeah, because you don't know how to actually play it.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what I do because, sometimes it's a little intricate things, and a lot of times it's not necessary.
yeah, just, but that's so totally true. And there's so many YouTube videos where the original artist will come out and go, "Hey, you guys are playing my song all wrong. Here's how I actually do it." Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You still play, Jim? You still
Let's hope.
play it anywhere?
I picked it up in 77, Jim. 77 or
Yeah.
78.
No, I think you're 100% right with that, Coldacre. That there goes me and Chris again.
Yeah.
When I first started after I came back, with COVID, I was like, I'm just going to be a better guitar player. That's all I wanted to do. I was going to learn how to play better and blah, 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 blah. And that lasted like a couple months until I got my first idea for a song. And the desire to write songs is so much stronger than the desire to be a better guitar player that it just went completely. I did a 180 and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to write songs. And, you don't always have, you don't have to be a great musician to be a good songwriter. Not saying I'm either, but you
Yeah.
just have to, there.
This is funny based on our discussion earlier today, Dom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Far away.
That's a pretty, for your first song on guitar, that's
Yeah, that's not screwing around.
a pretty heavy load to tackle.
Yeah, no question. And we're laughing
Hey,
about
Feisty.
this because Dom and I were having a discussion when I first started
What?
doing this. That a guy asked me who was he was an advanced guitar player for that time, had me come in because I would sit in every once in a while, I'd do some vocals, and we sat down with a recorder and really worked on Over the Hills and Far Away. So that was my first I'm the singer, I'm gonna sing kind of song. So again, as a singer, not maybe the best choice to start off with. Let's do some Robert Plant, but it was a good exercise. And that's
Yeah, well,
the
what?
thing.
I mean, he's
Challenge
right.
yourself.
He's challenging in many ways. One, because of his range, and two, he's so much a feeling singer.
Yeah.
It's not about the notes he hits, because really, no one in the band was technical. You listen to any song from any solo from Jimmy Page, there are mistakes all over the place, but he does them so well that they
Yeah.
sound beautiful.
Yeah, he was pretty
And,
sloppy.
Robert Plant was totally a singer like that. He felt everything.
Yeah,
and
he
it
just
came
went out
out.
there and welled, and it was amazing. But yeah, I mean, had tremendous range. Still has tremendous range. I was listening to him and Alison Krauss today. Something they did. It was amazing. So Yeah, hell of a first song is exactly right.
Oh God, yeah. Uh-huh.
Not your good training wheels first song, not what
No.
most people usually choose, but you know.
I think like one of the first songs I learned was like "Rock Around the Clock" or something like that. You know?
I'm trying to think what's the first song I learned to play. Because I'd screw around on a buddy's guitar before I got serious about playing. That's probably "Smoke on the Water" or something like that. I know I could play "Cars Moving in Stereo." That was another early one that I used to be able to play. So.
Nice.
Well, now you say that, but Page did a lot of heroin, and you know, the song remains the same. He's sloppy.
Yeah, he could be downright sloppy at times.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, well,
he had such good feel that he
it was
could.
A great band.
You know, he could incorporate them all. Like he could know he's doing the wrong thing and then turn around and do something amazing after it that made it sound like it was all meant to be.
Well, and the other thing, and he never gets any credit for it, but John Paul Jones was far and away the best musician in that band.
100%. I think he always gets that credit.
Well, I would hope so, because he held that train wreck together every single night and on all the records. He was an amazing talent. Well, he still is.
I mean, really, Zeppelin was 3 solo artists: a solo drummer, a solo guitar player, and a solo singer, and only him trying to keep these people all in check. You know,
exactly. That's exactly right, and did it really well.
Yeah,
tremendous respect for him. All right. Okay, no, that's pretty cool.
And now you are one there, Charlie.
Yeah. Well, that's David. He's a short-haired. You know,
oh, I'm sorry. I saw Charlie.
Yeah.
You see
Charlie's leaving us. Fine. Get out.
Aw. Good night, Charlie.
Let's see.
Uh,
All right. I think we missed something. Yeah. Hey, we're all not getting younger. That's for sure.
Nope.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm fine. Yeah, David.
No, that's true. You cannot be mistaken for a long-haired country boy.
No.
But you are from a farm.
There you go. He is a country boy.
He is a country boy. Well, no, they can have farms out east.
Yeah, well, but it's still, farms are still mostly in the country, so to speak. I mean,
did you just air quote me?
I air quoted you.
That's on my list. Things that make me insane. You're very red again this evening.
I'm not as red as I was.
No, but still fairly red.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I was washed out
Don't
earlier.
move closer.
You make me red. It's your
I know.
fault,
I just think you're on the verge of a heart attack the entire show.
Yeah, it's good. Got color. There, see? So he lived on a farm when he was a youngster.
It's cool.
Yeah. There you go. You guys were born in 77? Jesus.
Oh, they're young.
Jesus, Murphy.
They're youngsters.
Yeah, let's get out. Yep. It's that. What is it? One man sign band. What the hell was the name of that band? Something electrical band that had that song "Sign, Sign, Everywhere a Sign." They were Canadian too. I'm blanking the name of the band totally, but it's something string electric band or something. Anyway.
No, I don't think so. Wasn't it? No, I forget. But it was like a hair metal band, like weren't they?
Well, Tesla.
Or did they
covered
cover it? Oh, okay.
They covered it, right. But there, I was almost right. 5-man electrical band was the original artist.
Hey,
And then
Jeff, what's going on, pal?
Tesla covered it, so good song.
Oh, I did not know that was a cover.
Yep. Yeah, Tesla was a cover. Hey, how you doing? There he is,
Jeff.
back from his little hiatus, looking lean and mean and in fighting shape. Jeff,
Don't
the
be
Metalhead
fighting, though,
hippie.
Jeff. Don't be fighting.
He's not fighting anybody. Well, except for maybe a moose. You might have to fight a moose. This mooser, they're belligerent up there. Except for the one moose that is his sweetheart that he kissed. But some of those other ones.
He was not supposed to tell people about that. I remember him asking.
These pictures on
yeah.
his website. That's on him. Just
Okay.
reporting the news. All right.
All right,
So,
my
yeah.
friend. I think I'm going to have to bow out because I can no
bail out.
longer. I can no
Yeah.
longer breathe.
Yeah, I could tell you were getting more and more congested.
Yeah.
So take off and take care of yourself, and that's
All right.
fine because I've got some stuff to talk about solo tonight. But
Okay.
everybody, say goodnight to Dom.
Good night, all.
Get
Have a
feeling
good.
better.
Have a pleasant evening. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go take some drugs and go to bed.
Yeah.
And I will not hit the big square red button. I'm gonna hit this little one right here. Good night.
All right. And speaking of Jeff, everybody catch his show tomorrow. He comes on at, was it 4? 4 Eastern. So 2 o'clock my time. And starts playing the tunes. And it's good to have Jeff back. So I'm glad he's taking care of himself. And, I didn't know what to do with myself during the week when Jeff wasn't on. So I am glad that Hippie is back and doing his thing. So, yeah. I'm not going to talk about Dom because he's out. He's dead to me. He's no longer on the show, so screw him. No, I'm kidding. He and I talked before the show, and he goes, "Dude, I'm struggling." I said, "Come on, say hi for a while, and then they'll go home and take care of yourself." So that's what he's going to do. But he was on 3 nights this week, so it was a long week for him. And of course, he's got school-age kids who bring home every dread gombo there is. Now, see, look, do I look red now? No, because Dom's gone. My blood pressure's lowered. Now I'm calm and zen. It's that damn Italian guy that makes me nuts. So, yeah, exactly. Heather knows. Yeah. Everybody hang out with Hippie. I'll be hanging out tomorrow night. I can guarantee. Oh, which reminds me, I didn't send you shit for tomorrow. Well, primarily because, and that's on purpose, even though I'm sponsoring this month, I've got new stuff in the works, Jeff, but it's just not quite finished yet. So I'll feed you some new originals here in this next month. But, I'm happy to get a little play on Sundays and just hang out with everybody and listen to the good music. So anyway, there you go. See, I got DJ laughing. What I wanted to talk about and spend some time on, and I was going to preface the show with this, and I just couldn't get on in time to do it. I had mentioned earlier Jade's show today, which was amazing. And, Jade's journey is an interesting journey. Again, if you didn't see it, I'm not going to be a spoiler guy. Go see it for yourself. But I want to talk about this. Fear. We all have insecurities, fear. All artists have it. And if they say that they don't, they're full of shit. They're liars. We all do. But it's, about this journey of overcoming and becoming more fearless, more confident and everything. So this little segment's going to be called, "What the fuck are you afraid of?" And I want everybody in the chat to contemplate that for a moment. As an artist, I'm in this community. What am I afraid of? Am I afraid of people thinking I suck? That's legit. Am I afraid of embarrassing myself or not being able to deliver my best? Or, there are many, many things on that. And I just, this is kind of Coach Lane's pep talk time. We all have fears, and a lot of fears are very reasonable. You know, I'm personally afraid of heights. Always have been. Didn't know I was afraid of heights until I was in college, and I was working a show and went up in the cherry picker to change some lights for the show, and you know, I was, I don't know, 2, 3 stories up in the gymnasium there, or the field house because it was a college, and looked down and went, oh shit, and you know, had that, you know, what am I going to do here? Do you freeze up kind of thing? And I made the decision. It's like, well, I got a job to do. Don't look down, look up, change the light, do what you got to do, and then get down. So I did that. But, you know, that same year I went with a bunch of my college buddies when we went to the Grand Canyon because we had some gigs lined up down in Phoenix, Arizona for spring break. So we were driving down, we stopped at the Grand Canyon, same deal, got to the edge, and it was amazing. What a cool experience. But I could never get real close to the edge because I just got feeling uncomfortable and, you know, had that fear of heights, fear of falling. But in my life, I've learned to, even if you have a reasonable fear, to not let it drive your behavior. And because of that, you know, I've had a lot of cool experiences that I would have missed out on otherwise. I've been hot air ballooning, which was amazing. What a cool experience. I mean, talk about if you have a fear of heights, that seems totally counterintuitive, and it is, but didn't let that fear keep me from doing something cool. Walked across the, whatever they call that bridge that overlooks the Hoover Dam. And I mean, you're way above the canyon there, and you're looking across at Hoover Dam. You're looking down on Hoover Dam, which is enormous. So that gives you a sense of the height if you've never been there. And we walked out on the bridge with the traffic going and everything. Again, it should have been terrifying. And on one level, it absolutely was. But on the other hand, what a cool experience. I'm so glad that I saw it live in person and did that. And so musically, as artists, you know, let's... And I'm going to highlight your comment not to embarrass you or anything, but I appreciate this about David. David's putting out new stuff all the time, and he's very humble about it. He's very modest, you know, has, I don't want to say you're afraid, but, you know, maybe has that apprehension. Geez, is this, maybe I'm not as good as some of the other people in the community. Well, no, probably not. And neither am I, and neither is anybody else. The best, here I'll do air quotes again since Tom's not here, musician in this community feels like that there's somebody better than them, and that's normal, that's natural. Nothing wrong with that. But I think you get huge reward by stepping out of your comfort zone and trying things. You know, at 17, mentioning standing up there and then recording, trying to do Over the Hills and Far Away vocally. Man, what? That's a challenge. It taught me, you know, at that time that I wasn't ready as a vocalist to take on that kind of song. Just I didn't have the chops, I didn't have the technique. But it gave me an idea of where I was at and where I needed to go if I wanted to do that sort of thing. And, you know, that's what I'm going to encourage all of us to do. I'm doing a song for Chad Freeman's new metal show. And again, it's different for me. It's a departure. It's a challenging song to sing. And then I took some chances in the video too. You know, why? Because, you know, I want to challenge myself, and you challenge yourself by, and that's how you grow. You know, if you're into fitness at all, if you lift weights, you know that at some point you got to up the weight. You got to fatigue your muscle in order to get bigger, stronger, faster, whatever you're training for. And it's no different in the musical aspects of things. You got to challenge yourself and play stuff that you don't think you can play, and sing stuff that you don't think you can sing. And that's how you get to the point that you can do it. And I'm a big believer in that. So that's kind of my, I'm looking in the chat real quick. See, beer. I'm not sure what that's. There we go. This is totally legitimate. I totally want to address that. That's the thing. I've gotten, because of Michael and because of Dom, I'm playing live all the time. Well, my level of musicianship, especially on guitar, compared to theirs, is way lower. It just is. I'm okay with that. And I'm not afraid to take chances. And, they've seen me a couple times. I'll say, oh, hey, somebody made this request, and I'll look up a song and try and play it on the spot there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always fun to try. And, your best, depending on what we're talking about, may not be good enough. That's okay. Again, this is a journey, folks. It's not a destination. None of us have arrived. If we talk to artists that have sold millions of records, I don't think many of them would say they've arrived either. It's a journey, and we're all in the journey together. But I can see that's a fair. Hey, RVZN Karaoke, how are you tonight? Thanks for joining us on the program. We're talking about fear and moving past our fear and putting ourselves out there. Hello, Old Mustard. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Now that's interesting, and that's a normal path for a guitarist. Most guitarists have one of two paths. They want to be shredders, they want to be lead guitarists, or they're more singer-songwriter types and kind of strummers, and so they're more inclined to go the songwriting route right from the beginning. But your point, sir, is exactly well taken. Writing a good song that people connect with, that's the thing. Very few people, you'll listen to something and, you've completely ignored the song, but you think, oh, that guitar playing is so wonderful. It might, but chances are, if it's a memorable song, it's because the song itself was memorable, and then the guitar playing is that nice bonus. It's a great cake, and the guitar playing is the icing on it, or the decorations. And that's a great thing to do. And I think being in the habit of doing those, and I will just say point blank, David, what I hear from what you're doing now versus what I heard 6 months ago is a huge progression. And just because I think you're getting more comfortable and you're getting a little more confident, and maybe that fear of I suck or whatever you might be facing is damped down a little bit. And yeah, David agrees with you, Old Mustard. So let's see. Yeah, and that's exactly where, and that's where I come from as a musician, a songwriter. I do it for me because I enjoy doing it. If you guys listen to one of my songs and you guys enjoy it, God, what a huge bonus. That is just fantastic. And, everybody wins. But the primary thing is always to do something that I like and I think is good enough to share. Trust me, there's a bunch of shit on my DAW that you guys will never hear. Because it's just, to Michael's point earlier, it's not as good as I'm capable of doing. And therefore, if I don't think it's good enough, or if I think it can be better, no one's going to hear it until I think I can get it to that point. That's just kind of how it is. Yeah, always, and it's good to try new things, and just, that's how you grow as a singer or as a guitar player, drummer, bassist, whatever you do. Challenge yourself a little bit. Okay. No, I know. I watched it, DJ. Pissed me off. I don't know what it is with my boys on Thursday nights. They cannot get the job done on Thursday nights. I think they do it to torture me. But yeah, because it was on in Detroit and the game was over before I came down. But I put on a happy face, even though my boys dropped that one. And that was a very winnable game. But, score a power play goal. It's a thought. one of the best scoring teams in the NHL, and they put 1 goal on Detroit. Come on, that ain't going to get it done. So yeah, there's our little brief hockey talk, and just my little fear. No, that's fine. Yeah, I would have, had I not been able to watch it, I would have appreciated the update. So it's good either way. So that's my little update. I'm going to take a second here, and we're going to do this. I mentioned tonight that we're featuring the music of our friends, and tonight it's Hugh Caldwell night. Now, Hugh may join us at some point, but we're playing music of Hugh Caldwell. So I had played the blooper reel from Dark Age, which is something that Dom and Hugh and I got together for, specifically for the Metalhead Hippie Show. And we did this song, and it's pretty, we think it's pretty darn good. We were pretty happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to let you guys listen to the actual finished version now of Apocalypse, the band, and our song Dark Age. I don't know why it muted me, but all right. What I was saying was there's Hugh Caldwell, Dom Torregrossa, and yours truly doing Dark Age. And that one is exactly what I was talking about as far as taking chances. And you could look like a real idiot, you know, in your t-shirt and your headband and swinging around the sword there. But we felt like that was kind of what we wanted to get across in the video, and so, you know, we filmed it that way. And certainly, you know, from my standpoint on this particular song, I did more vocal takes on this song than anything I've ever done before, because we were looking for a very specific tone. We were looking to get a very specific thing across, and it was really a challenge. And Dom, to his credit, I would, you know, sing myself borderline hoarse, and I'd send him the takes, and he'd go, "Man, those are good, but you know what? You can do better. Do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again." And you know, that's what we did on this entire song, is just to the point, actually. And you notice Dom played bass on that one. I excused myself from the bass on that one because I had done a part, and Dom and I talked about it, and he said, "I got an idea for it." And he played me his part, and I said, "Dude, what you're doing is much better than what I was doing. I'll just focus on the vocals. You take care of the bass." And then gathered up all the parts, and I did the mixing for that one. And you know, there we had something that we're pretty proud of. But we all, you know, stepped out there. And you know, Hugh Caldwell, as great a guitar player as he is, it was kind of the same thing. He's like, "Oh, I don't know if these takes are any good, and you know, what about this one?" And you know, he had a little self-confidence issue with that one, and we're like, "Oh, keep sending the takes in." And you know, when he did it the one time, there we go, doop, doop, that's it, you're done, that's perfect. So yeah, and that's the thing, you know, if you guys haven't figured this out by now, I have a little bit of a sense of humor. I don't take myself too seriously. I mean, I'm a 62-year-old man, and I'm, you know, up here playing rock and roll and everything. Got to have a little wink on this kind of stuff, because if I took it seriously and that came across, you guys would go, "Man, what a tool. That's ridiculous." And you'd be right. So we try and have a little fun with it and not take ourselves 100% seriously. Yeah, all of us had played in bands long enough, and that ego thing that's a topic for another night. We're going to take that one on. Ego is your enemy. In that, you need ego to do this, but you have to not let it be the driving force. You have to have enough ego to say, "I'm good at what I do, and I can do this, and I want to try this. I think I can do it," but not have the kind of ego that says, "Well, because I'm the bass player and you're the guitar player, I'm going to play the bass part, and it doesn't matter. That's what I did, and that's it." That would have been foolish, and that would have detracted from the song. And we were all about the song. It's just, and you know, I think it's the path to the best work you can do in a collaboration setting, is everybody listens to one another, and everybody puts their best foot forward, and you kind of have that give and take. So I saw Pendar join the chat at some point. Hello, Pendar. We hope, you know, you have, what is it, 50 some odd bones in your foot, and Pendar broke 86 of them somehow. So hopefully it's getting better every day, and you're coming around on that. But yeah, had a little accident, and so that's not good. But it's always good to see you, Pendar. A very talented vocalist right there, boys and girls. Check out, she gets together with her friend, Ms. High, on Saturdays in the afternoon, and they do a little show, and people can come up and play live, and they do tracks, and they're both phenomenal vocalists. So. yeah. I'm sorry. I should have full disclosed that early on. Yeah, sorry, DJ. you know. Anyway. Okay, well, that's progress. You know. Yeah, probably limited weight. Like you couldn't put my weight on it. It would break it again. So, yeah. But it's good that you're healing and getting better there. Oh, now, with this, I'm a chatty guy, but it's a little hard to do on the solo side because I burned up the one topic I really wanted to talk about, and that's again, as musicians, challenge yourself. And I will say this, be it me, probably sooner rather than later, or maybe some of you, we might not get there. We might put out something that in hindsight we go, that was so. And I will say this, I appreciate that the community is encouraging without just, the 5-year-old, didn't poop his pants adoration. It's like, oh, everything you do is wonderful. I don't get that sense from this community. I get the sense that we generally support one another and but are honest in our support. It's not just blowing smoke up one another's backsides. And certainly as opposed to, I know that there was some people and they would, it was like Submit Your Mix or something, and these guys would just tear everybody a new asshole. And on one hand, okay, I mean, that was the premise of their show, is like, we're going to tell you what sucks about this and so you can make it better. But man, it was a fine line, and I found myself not enjoying the show because these dudes got really vicious, and I'm not sure that the stuff I heard from them was particularly better than anything that they were trashing. And I don't know that that's maybe the best approach either. So have that nice balance. Who's going away? I see out of the corner of my eye. I assume, okay, David, have a good night, man. See you later. Yep. It's how it is. My work is just staying up late and doing stuff like this. Hey, Axel Nacho, what's going on, man? How's it going? So that maybe. I think Mandar and Pandar, I think they're doing all right. They seem like those kids might just make it. We did talk about food briefly, as Dom and I always do, and I've kind of said my piece as far as, challenging yourself, overcoming fears, having a little bit of confidence yourself. I will say this, for any of you people out there that are vocalists, confidence is all of it. I mean, you can have technique and you can practice your scales and all that kind of stuff, which is you should do just for the health of your voice and everything, but singing is all about confidence. If you feel good about what you're doing and everything, just everything comes across better. So, and I know a lot of you guys are either guitar players or don't consider yourself singers first and foremost. Totally get that. But I would just encourage you to say, I can carry a tune, I can sing, and I'm gonna do this because this song is me and I want to emote it. And if you do that with a little bit of confidence, it's always going to be good, man. Always going to be good. The question, the next foodie video, well, funny you should ask. I was doing some editing on that yesterday. I would hope to put it out this week, but that's not going to happen because I'm on a magazine deadline. But next week I will release homemade chicken noodle soup. Why chicken noodle soup? Because it's good for you. I mean, Dom left the chat sick tonight. If he'd had some chicken noodle soup, he'd feel better. And scientifically, this is no bull. They have figured out that the compounds in homemade chicken noodle soup, even the commercial crap, honestly, but the compounds in that you get from the chicken and the broth and the vegetables and everything is really good when you don't feel well. See, all those old grandmothers knew what they were doing. So I will show you how I make my homemade chicken noodle soup. And it's got good flavor. It's easy to do. Just takes a little bit of time, and it's so much better than what you're getting out of a can for the most part. So yeah. Hey, Ephorium, how are you doing, man? Good to see you, Epi. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. I'm all about homemade. Now, again, if you're not, now this may come, if you're too sick to make your own soup, then, chicken noodle soup from Campbell's is not the worst thing you can put in yourself. Because when you're sick like that, you're dehydrated, you're short on minerals, you need the things that are in chicken noodle soup. The fresher it is, the better it is, and the better it is for you. But, that old, if you're out on the sea tossed in a storm and you happen to pull into a port that maybe it's a little rocky, it's not ideal, you're still out of the storm. Same idea. So, but that's why it's just good to have some, because it does, the problem with like a Campbell's or a Progresso or any of those, they put a lot of preservatives in there so it can stay on the shelf for 6 months or a year. Well, on one hand, that's good. It doesn't go bad. On the other hand, it's got a bunch of preservatives and crap in there that maybe you don't necessarily want in your body. Homemade chicken noodle soup doesn't have any of that. Obviously, it's not going to keep as long. So, you need to eat it within a week or so. But it's going to be better for you. Absolutely. And that will be another episode. I love making pasta. Again, Dom teases me. Here's the Irish guy, but I love pasta. And I love making my own pasta, my own bread doughs, my own pizza doughs and everything. So I will for sure do noodles at some point. And homemade noodles in fresh homemade soup like that. Oh, it is delightful. That's good stuff. So there's... Okay. Bean soup. Yeah, we were talking about a split pea soup earlier tonight. I'm a soup guy. I love soups. I know not everybody's favorite, but I enjoy making soups, and I certainly enjoy eating soups. That's kind of my, if I go to a seafood restaurant, I'm going to say, how good's your clam chowder? Let's see how you handled the clam chowder, because that's going to be pretty informative of how you're going to handle the rest of the fish and everything. And nothing better than a good clam chowder. I'd make that for one of the shows too. Why not? I already showed you my seafood soup, but I might just make a chowder, which is a cream base, and that's always nice. So that's what's coming up food wise. But yeah, I probably won't have that video ready until next week. And I'm not going to put it on anybody's show or anything. It's because it's a long video. It's probably going to be 15 minutes or 20 minutes worth of me cooking. So if you're into cooking stuff, you'll enjoy it. If not, you can stream to the end and get the ingredients and everything. Interestingly enough, kind of a sorry Irishman in some respects, because Irish stew's all right. It's basically a pot roast, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of Irish food, actually, if you look back on the history, it was kind of borrowed from the Jewish immigrants in New York. But like corned beef and cabbage, that's what the Jewish delis were making there. And I'm not a huge fan of corned beef, and I don't care for cabbage. It's good for you and everything, but it's just something I don't enjoy very much. So I don't make corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. I do make some whiskey on St. Patrick's Day and enjoy that. And I may do a roast of some kind, but it won't be corned beef. And yeah, crock pots are fantastic, especially, just set it, forget it and everything. The Instapots. Now, honestly, I was nuts about my Instapot for 2 years. And this year I have not used it once. And it just changed the schedule and everything. I was using it frequently in the winter because I couldn't go out and grill like I like to do and use some of my outdoor cooking stuff. And time-wise, the Instapot, because of the pressure and everything, cooks a little faster. But this year, I've got time. I'm doing some different things, and I just haven't used my Instapot that much. But a good crock pot is always great to have handy. Well, we will hook you up there, DJ, because I want to make sure everybody gets fed good. I enjoy feeding people, and since I can't have you over to my house, this is the next best thing. I'll invite you for a meal, and I'll show you how I make it, and we can spend a little time together that way, and that's a good thing. Now, certainly this summer, I will be doing outdoor episodes of me smoking various things, or grilling, or making my homemade pizza. So that'll be fun for everybody. And we'll get out, we'll get a little sunshine, and that'll be good for everybody. So, and while we're doing the fun music things too. All right. Now, what else do you guys want to talk about tonight? I'm going to open forum here. What's on your mind, guys? What's coming up in your lives? What's going on that is interesting you? If anybody has any new equipment they want to talk about, who's working on new music right now? Anybody in the chat doing that? Conspiracy has mentioned. Let me scroll up. Dun, dun, dun. Let me find the comment. Maybe up further. But Conspiracy got involved with YouTube on some AI music. And it's an interesting concept. And he has been releasing some of it. And I know he's going to be doing some more, doing some videos for it. But basically, YouTube said, here's a program. We want you to use it. You tell us what you think. Give us some feedback, that kind of thing. And he did a number of songs in it. And I always thought it was kind of interesting. And so, oh, okay. Well, love that. From a longtime bass player, hey, love people starting to play the bass. Because, you gotta, man, without that bottom end and without somebody holding it down and propelling the song forward, holding the elements together, you got nothing. So I applaud that. For me, they go together hand in hand. Even before I really morphed into basically a lead vocalist, I always sang and played. And, I think that's why I enjoy the live doing, because I get to play and sing all at the same time. For me, they're just absolutely interchangeable. If I'm not playing, if I don't have an instrument in my hand, I'm probably singing. And conversely, I don't sit down and just play guitar or play bass, particularly unless I'm recording without singing. So they just, for me, they totally go hand in hand. Yeah, and the bass is a cool instrument in that you can get a pretty decent one for not a lot of money anymore. They just sound good, and I've played a bunch of cheap basses here in the last couple of years, and I don't need another bass, and I'm not in the market for one, but I like to just play things just so I know how they feel and how they sound and everything. And I've played some budget basses that were, $250 or less, and they were damn solid. The Squier Precision bass, it's a damn good bass. Now, I'm not a Fender guy on bass. I much prefer Gibsons. That's what I own and play. But again, those things go for, under $2 depending on the model and everything. And they're friggin' solid as a rock. They're good basses. Very good. Oh, now that's a very cool thing to do. As many of you know, Mandar was in a band for many years, and Pandar's been putting videos together and taking their old music and putting it forward. And these guys they had it going on. It was a damn good band. So that's very cool of you doing that, and I look forward to seeing more of those. Yeah, well, basses by their nature are heavy. Even the cheap, lightweight ones are still heavier than your average guitar. It's just what it is. It's just physics. That's how you get those big, heavy strings to vibrate. They got to be bigger and heavier. Being a big dude, it's not a problem for me. Actually, the only bass, and I tell this story fairly frequently, the only bass I just never could get behind, literally, was the Steinberger. And you guys remember those? They were black, the stick. I mean, it was just basically a fretboard and a little narrow body. And they're amazing basses. They sound so friggin' good. But, imagine, 200 plus pounds of me with this little black stick. It just looked ridiculous. So that was a bass that I would never own for that reason. As a rule, I like weightier guitars, depending. Now, there's a lot of guitars that are just fat. They're overweight. They don't need to be that heavy. A lot of Les Pauls fall in that category, that they're overly heavy for no good reason. I had a buddy of mine in high school, and it was a beautiful looking Les Paul. But it was heavy AF, and the thing was dead. It was like playing just a plank of 4x4. It had no tone. It was garbage. It was a shitty guitar. So weight, I know people think weight equates to sustain, and that's true often, but there's a lot of other factors in there. And there are some guitars that are just overweighted, and there's no good reason for them. But I tend to lean towards a little bit heavier, because some of the really lightweight guitars to my ear sound very thin to me, and I don't care for them. Yeah, Ibanez. I own a couple Ibanez. I'm a big fan of Ibanez. I think they build a quality instrument like everybody else most of the time. They've got their duds. I had an Ibanez Explorer style bass way back in the day. This would have been 82. And it was koa wood. It was beautiful, but it was a little light, and the pickups were shit, and that was like my backup stage bass. And I ended up selling it because it wasn't a fantastic guitar. Now it's probably worth a mint today, because they were pretty rare even back then. But I'm not a guitar collector. I never have been, and I want stuff that I can use, and that one wasn't. Okay. Very good, DJ. That's good. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Hello, Shelley. How are you? Welcome. I think we all agree on this. Mandar and Pandar are wonderful. And everybody's saying hi to Shelley. That's cool. Yeah. Well, and again, body size certainly plays, if you're a petite person, some guitars are not for you. They don't feel right. Here, true confession time. I loved Ovations back in the day. I really did. But as I got older and the belly started to stick out a little bit, I cannot play an Ovation anymore, because the rounded bowl slips, and I'm like playing a flat top. I was part of a church a number of years ago, and the worship leader had an Ovation. It was a nice guitar. And, I would sometimes fill in for him in lead. And because I did not have an acoustic electric at that time that I could play. So he would loan me his Ovation. And man, I fought it every Sunday, because it kept sliding on me. And it was a pain in the ass. Sounded great, but it was very difficult to play for that reason. All right. Hey, Jeff, we'll see you. Stay warm up there. Don't let the moose trample you. And we'll see you Friday night, which is tomorrow. All right, everybody say goodbye to the Metalhead Hippie. See you, Jeff. Aw, you guys. Well, you guys are sweet. It's nice. I've said it on the show many times. My delightful wife and I have been married 35 years this year. So I'm a big fan of, people getting together long term and staying together. Yeah, I mean, and that's back when they were good. I picked up an Ovation recently, within the last 2 months, at a store, just to see how they sound, and it was a piece of shit. It didn't sound good. It didn't feel good. I liked nothing about it. It was nothing like the old 80s, early 90s Ovations that I used to play that I really liked. Those were great guitars. This one, not so much. So, and like everything else, you just got to play it. What the right guitar is one that sounds good to your ear and feels comfortable to play. and I am no brand slob or snob even. Um, and I've said this many times, and I'll continue to say, I don't care what the headstock says. If it stays in tune, if it has good pickups, and even let me back up a second. My method for testing guitars, I don't even plug it in, especially in electric. I do not plug it in. I will play it at the music store for 30 minutes to see if it's good. If at the 30-minute mark I'm digging the way it feels and it sounds good not plugged in, I'm going to test the pickups and plug it in, but you're already 3/4 of the way there, because all those pickups are doing is amplifying the vibrations of the strings and the harmonics of the wood. If those aren't working when it's not plugged in, it doesn't matter what pickups are. It's never going to sound right. And that's my personal little soapbox. So if it sounds right to you, it stays right in tune. It feels comfortable to play, and everybody's hand is a little different. So different shaped necks, are going to be important to you. There's certain neck shapes I like, and other ones I don't like as much. Some people really have a huge preference on rosewood or ebony versus maple, and I have no preference on that one. I have both kinds of guitars. It's about equally split between maple and rosewood fretboards. And for me, they feel different, but that makes no difference to me as far as the playing. It's more the neck shape that's more important to me. And then the finish plays a role. Some people like really slick finishes. Some people like a more matte finish. Got to get what works for you. I think that's more important. Was Karma? Yeah, well, and that's a good point, Hey, big man, now I'm laid up. Now tilt and fetch and fix me some supper. Yeah, I don't know that slipping and breaking your leg is karma. I wouldn't have said that. I don't think the universe works that way, but I could be wrong. Yeah, that's a tough quandary, because sometimes you have a guitar, and that's what Dom was talking about earlier before you got here, Epi. He's got a number of guitars, and he just simply doesn't play them, and he's thinking about turning them into something that he does. And I absolutely advocate that, and I did that recently. And I mentioned that I had a custom telly that a good friend gave me, because he knew I liked tellies and everything, and this is a kick-ass guitar. It was heavy, it was well made, played well, but I didn't love it. And the reality is, because I didn't love it, I didn't record with it that often. I never used it live, and so it sat around in the case. And at some point you think, why am I holding on to this guitar that I'm not using? Somebody else is going to love this guitar. Let's get it to somebody who does, and let's turn it into something that you will use. And that's what I did. I took it to the music store here locally, and they specialize in buying and selling used instruments. So they offered me a cash price for it, and then they gave me a credit, which was higher, as a trade-in. And so I utilized the credit, and I turned it into, I'm going to roll out of the picture. This Ibanez acoustic electric. It's a semi-hollow, and again, it just met my criteria. I got in the music store. I played it for 30 minutes. Loved the way it sounded. And it's not going to pick up very well on this, but it's attitude. But I really loved the way it felt. I loved the way it played. Good tone. Then I plugged it in and went, well, yeah, this is good. And, I walked out of here basically just because of the tax, $40 poor than I walked in, and traded the guitar straight across. So, and I've already recorded with this guitar. I've used it on 3 live shows already. I've already gotten way more use out of this one than I did the other one. And that's what you need to do. Get tools that you're going to use. And I think I mentioned it is an Ibanez. And this is my second Ibanez. I like Ibanez's. I have certainly played a couple that were not great, but that one was a good one. So yeah, I kind of went over a lot of that. It just, when you know, you know. This guitar, I'll pick this one up because this one's right for me. Isn't that handy when I keep them close? I got this 2 years ago in Montana. A great music store up there in Bozeman, Montana. This is my Yamaha, and I've owned a Yamaha 12-string. I bought it in 1980, and I've owned it all this time. I love that guitar. Played it forever. But I really needed an acoustic electric. Didn't have one. I'd looked at some. I'd looked at a Fender, honestly, that it had a bad fret on it, because I would have bought it, because it was like 200 some odd bucks, 250 or something like that. It was but it had a bad fret on it. It was like, I don't want it. And I just was screwing around at the music store up there, and I picked up this one, and just as soon as I played it, like, oh yeah, neck feels like my 12-string. Has beautiful tone that I like out of Yamahas. Felt totally comfortable. Oh man, this is the guitar. And then I put it back on the rack because I wasn't planning on buying a guitar that day. Now, the good news was my wife was with me and my youngest son. And, I walk out of the room at some point, and she'd listen to me play it for 30 minutes. And she goes, "Where's the guitar?" And I said, "No, I put it back." And she goes, "You loved that guitar, didn't you?" And I said, "It's like you know me." "Yeah, I did. I loved it. I loved everything about it." She goes, "Go get it and buy it." So I did. And thank you, dear. Love you, sweetie. When you know, you know. And there's never convince yourself to buy a guitar because you think the name is cool or it looks cool or whatever. It's a tool, and it's got to feel right and it's got to sound right. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and your talent and your money. Don't do that. So, yeah, it's a pretty guitar, and it's probably the mattest finish of any guitar I own on that Epiphone, but it still feels good, and I like it. Love Yammies. Yep. Yeah, and they just build a really quality instrument. Even their really budget student guitars are pretty decent, and then, as soon as you go up a little bit from there, man, as soon as you get above 200 to 300 bucks on a Yamaha, it's going to be a damn good instrument. And again, you can own it forever. That my 12-string, I'll point out, even though you're not supposed to, my 12-string has been tuned to standard tuning E for decades. And I just, in the past year, have started to tune down most of my guitars a half step. But the neck's not cracked, there's no bows, there's no warps, it's just fine. And I don't loosen the strings because I never know when I'm going to play them. And I want to pick them up, and I don't want to spend 30 minutes tuning or anything. I just want to pick it up and go. So, big fan of the Yamahas. Yamaha nylon strings just sound amazing. Nylon strings in general sound really cool. I don't own one, and because I don't do finger style, I wouldn't own one because I just don't play that way, but I love the sound of them. Hey, the dog paw, what's up? Now, here's a man who knows his guitars. He custom builds them, and because he knows what he wants, and he's not afraid to get it. Because certain guitars just work. Stratocasters really loved to be tuned down a half step. Honestly, they work better. They just sound better. There was rumor is that Leo Fender designed them to sound best when tuned down a half step. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but in the particular Fenders that I own, that is the case. And so I was tuning those down, and then over time I just started to tune the other ones down, and it was more a function of, I don't want to play the mental game of, okay, which guitar is this, and is it tuned down or is it in standard? So I've tuned them all the same, which is down a half step. It certainly for playing live and everything, that half step just makes the singing just a teeny bit easier. It changes the keys a little bit, and it just makes life a little better as we've all gotten older, even though I actually can sing 3 notes higher than I could when I was in my 20s. But yeah, some guitars just sound better. 12 strings, the thing is, they should be tuned down a full step. They should be tuned down to D, but I never did that because it's a weird tuning, and then you got to turn around and capo it, and that just made no sense to me. So I've always tuned that to standard. But again, now it's tuned down a half step, and given its age, it's taking a little pressure off the neck, and it sounds great. So why not? So everybody say hi to the. Yeah, exactly. I mean, piano tuners are worth their weight in gold. Pianos are damn difficult to tune. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but if those of you that don't know, tuning a piano is equally art and science, and a good piano tuner is worth its weight in gold. So I know we had to pay when we had Dan Fogelberg play at the college. We had to get the concert grand in there, and then we had another piano that he used, and we had to have a piano tuner come, and yeah, it cost us a couple grand to tune those 2 guitars, or excuse me, those 2 pianos for the show. And it was fun to watch him do it because, man, that man knew his business. Yeah, there is well, and again, the A440 is a relatively recent, modern times, last 100 years belief that's the standard. So yeah, I said Fender. As you know, I own Fenders, I own Gibsons, I own Ibanez's, I own Yamahas, and seems like I'm missing one. Well, no, not because I got rid of the custom one. So that's what I got. I just leave it down. Now again, you can absolutely capo up. I'm such a dipshit. Capos are very foreign to me, and I have them and I've tried to use them, but it's not something I'm real comfortable doing because I've got so much muscle memory from over the years that I always try and chord things on top of the damn capo, which is, I mean, that's the point of having a capo on there. It changes the 0 fret, and so that's a me thing. So Lori's Mishmash, what the fuck are you talking about? You came in for the real technical music stuff. No, I know you're a super good piano player, but I know you're not a guitar techie like some of us are. So I assume that's for Pendar. Yeah, it got her out of making dinner for a while. That's for sure. Yeah, there's trouble, right? Lori's Mishmash. I should speak, because this is a hoot. I'm going to go find something real quick, because, we are playing the music of Hugh Caldwell tonight, and we said we were gonna, and I have certainly done a couple things with Lori now and with Hugh Caldwell, and we did this a couple months ago, but because I'm such a schmuck, I didn't get it on my channel until just really recently. So I'm going to play a little something for you featuring our artist tonight, Hugh Caldwell, and Miss Lori's Mishmash, who's in the chat right now. And this is a Lionel Richie cover, and I'm going to call it Easy. Enjoy.
But that's my fucking song. That's my fucking song. You understand what I'm saying? I like that song.
Hey, Lori, KK, and you. Let's just see how this goes, shall we? I know it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain.
Oh yeah, there's the guys doing their thing. So fun stuff there. And again, our featured artist tonight, Hugh Caldwell. That dude can play anything. Throw a song at him and he can do it. And I gotta say, I always have a great time doing things with Lori because she puts the fun in dysfunctional. And I appreciate that about her. So yeah, good times. And just again, her videos are always fun. And I'm all about fun. Yeah, see? She sees. Yeah, Dom, that's me posing as Dom because it puts it in both the channels. But yeah, Dom has gone to bed, hopefully, and is chugged a bunch of NyQuil and is snoring. And hopefully getting over his cold and congestion. So that was the fun thing. And again, we'll probably play one or two more Hugh Caldwell songs. We'll play a Hugh solo here in a little bit. But Dom and I just decided that we're going to, every show, feature a couple of our friends. And, you know, we're not really a music show and we don't play a whole lot of videos, but, you know, we want to pay a little homage to our friends and people that we've worked with because it's fun, like I was saying earlier tonight. So, but yeah, to Lori's point there, teasing me about the nice pink shirt and the tie and all that kind of stuff. I was actually worked in corporations for a while and hated it. Hate. I actually have a business degree, but that's not what I do for a living because I'm just not a corporate guy. You know, I tried for a while. I did my best play pretend, but not me. I didn't like it, and yeah, it's not a good fit. I'm a do my own thing kind of guy. So that's what I do. That's me channeling Dom actually drinking a beer. I never have beer in the house, but I had one and I thought I'd drink it tonight because it seemed like it would be tasty. Again, I try and keep the fun in dysfunctional because why not? If I wasn't here doing this, I'd be foisting myself upon random strangers at the mall or something going, hey, you want to be my friend? Want to talk about guitars? Or something, yeah, and that would be weird. And I would have a restraining order. Here on YouTube, no restraining orders. So far. And I'll try and keep it that way. But, yeah. I did mention Lady Campion. I don't know how we got on the hair thing, but I was looking at bald cap wigs again because, damn it, I do want to do that for a video. I want to come out in bald cap. And I've got to find one that I can actually get all this hair and stuff in under and make it work. And so I was on Amazon shopping last night. We'll see if we can make that happen. I tried once before, and this is the story I was telling Lady Campion, because I really had a video I wanted to do it on. And I got it, and I got that little hair thing on, and I tucked my hair back, and I was yanking it over my head. And I don't know if it's apparent from looking here. I've got an enormous head. Even though there was 10, 15 guys maybe taller than me on the football team in high school, I had the second biggest helmet because I got a big noggin. So between the size of my head and all the hair, I spent $18 on this bald cap, and I put it on and it just shredded. I was like, well, that didn't work. So I'm looking at spending a slightly more because I'm a cheap bastard and see if I can make it work. And if I can, it'll be a great gag and it will be funny. And if not, I'm not out a whole lot of money. Yeah, never gonna happen. Again, let's review. I've been married 35 years. If I cut my hair, certainly if I shave my head, that's it. I don't see 36. That's just how it works, man. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's it, Coldacre. Yeah, no, not shaving. I know some of you guys would love that. You'd feel a little bit better about yourselves, but that not happening. Yeah, no, I mean, I know Lori has all this stuff. I should ask I don't know that Lori's ever shopped with all of her wigs. I doubt she's ever shopped for a bald cap, however. I would think that's not in her wheelhouse. Although I would love to see Lori's wig collection, wouldn't you guys? I mean, how many do we think she owns? Let's do. Lori, are you willing to play along with this? If I have people guess how many wigs you have in the chat, will you confirm the number or say close? Or, I mean, you have to be a good sport about this and willing to play along. Otherwise, we won't do it. But yeah, what wig? I love that. Lori, in case you don't, because I've seen Lori in some various chats and everything, Lori has gorgeous hair. She really does. But she also likes to spice it up with the wigs and everything. So, no, I don't think this is true. I don't think that's true. No, that's also that, however, probably is. Yeah, Lori is an awesome sport. I don't think she's that good a sport, and I don't know why she would be. So yeah, I don't think that's happening. Yeah, see, Goldacre's right. Yeah, Lori's hair is fabulous. It's just she's got good hair. I mean, her hair. Look, I'm not afraid to say this. Lori's hair is almost as good as mine. I mean, it's almost. It's pretty close. Well, that tells us that the number is north of 20, right? Wow. Yeah, again, Goldacre's got some hair. Yes, we all love Lori, and we do. She is, I don't know, one of those people that one of the first people that I saw regularly on the community. I went, well, she's fun. I like her attitude. I like her fun. Yeah, well, again, that's idle threat with me, Dogpaw. As we've said many times, you're just a little bit north of me, and ain't by much. Like, not years, months, I think. So yeah. But thanks, Mom. Good genetics. What can I tell you? Well, let's ask, because we were talking about before you got in the chat, Lori, projects going on. I know you always have 5, 6 things in the hopper. Who are you working with on something that's going to come out next? Inquiring minds want to know. It's always a highlight to me to see what you're doing. I love the thing you did with Leanie too, recently. That was delightful. Oh yeah. Well, look. I mean, that's mostly blonde. That's reddish blonde. That's gray on this side. This is all gray. On camera, my hair looks remarkably blonde. In sunlight, not so much. It's there you go, get off my lawn. Exactly. Yeah, I'm working on it. It is my plan to outlive you all by at least, and I'll throw a hell of a party in your honor, people. I'm just telling you. Kidding aside, given some of the passings in the community here recently, Dom, Michael, and I, Clay, I believe Chad may have been involved in this conversation too. We had a little discussion about that. If we're gone, what are we going to do and everything? And I just told him, I said, you bastards, you better have a 3-day party in my honor, and you better have a good time. And those of you who do drink whiskey better drink some. And and Dom, because Dom is goes, oh, I'm going to pull a chair right next to your casket. I'm going to pull out a bottle of whiskey, and then I'm going to tell you how you're dying wrong. I went, I would expect no less from you, Mr. Torregrossa, so thank you. It's good to have friends like you. Yeah, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. And again, I dislike most modern artists, but Billie Eilish, I think is how you say her name. I'm probably not even saying her name right, but I actually like her. I think she's got some talent. I think she's interesting. Um, I, much more so than most of the people in the current scene. So, and I love that cover. I thought those ladies, and again, Leni Perez has got a great sense of humor. She's a delight. She is a smiler. Let's see. All right. Well, that's what you got to aim for. Yeah, if I don't hit triple digits, Dog Pie, I got to tell you, I'll feel like a complete friggin' failure. Waiting on Coldy, huh? Yeah, that's happened before. People have had to wait on me occasionally. I'm not the speediest with the video part of it. I get the music done fairly quickly, but I screw around with the video. It's just, I like doing videos, but I don't, if you know what I mean. I dislike the setup and the green screening and the filming of them. That's a part of the process I don't enjoy. I love the editing part and the creative part, but I don't enjoy the actual filming, so I tend to be a little slow at that. Yep. All right, let's see. Well, yeah, an Irish funeral. After the wake, you went back to the pub, and that's what you do. And that's the Germans do a very similar thing. You know, somebody in the family passes and you have a party because it should be a celebration of the deceased life. Tell funny stories, tell things that maybe not everybody knows, have a laugh and everything, because even though guys like Dog Pie and I are planning on hitting triple digits, none of us get out alive. And so you should enjoy your time here while you're here. And when you go or when your friends go, you should celebrate that you had that opportunity to hang out with them. And that's a good thing. Went my dinner. Well, sorry about that. There you go. All right, Goldie's on it. Yeah. And again, I think it honors them, honestly. That's my personal opinion, but I think that, you know, we should honor them by really having a remembrance of them. And you know, I had a weird childhood in that I moved a lot, so I was away from a lot of family and everything. And so I didn't have people passing, I had grandparents or anything until I was much older. I went to my first funeral. Kay and I were already dating. We were scheduled to get married in 6 months, and that was my grandfather's funeral. And that was the first one I'd ever been to. And it was just, I don't know, it was a strange experience in a lot of ways. And my grandfather was a really interesting man. And now that I look back on it, I don't feel like his life was celebrated in the way it could have been. And, you know, that's my personal opinion. I think that's what should happen. You should celebrate that person's life, and that you got to be their friend or their family. Hi, Lorenzo. Welcome to the channel. Usually it's my partner Dom Tarragrosa and I. And if you're familiar with Seinfeld, the show about nothing, this is kind of like that. But it's kind of like that for musicians. And we talk about music. We play a little bit of music. We talk about food. We talk about things that are going on in the indie music community. We talk about projects we're going on, and it's chit chat. And if you hang around for a while, you'll decide, oh, that dude is highly entertaining and interesting. Or you'll go, I don't know what this dude is babbling about. Moving on. But thanks for stopping in, and hopefully you'll hang out for a little bit. YouTube recommended it. The algorithm gods have spoken. This show got recommended. Holy shnikes. That is interesting. Well, everybody, because of YouTube's recommendation, everybody make sure that Lorenzo feels right at home and welcome him into the chat in the channel. So there you go. Mostly music people, just general chat. And that's usually, it's just general chat. So, and of course there's tangents. We talk about hair. We talk about all kinds of stupid stuff. Very true. And you know what, Lorenzo? I'm glad you brought that up because it is my personal belief that COVID brought most of us together in one form or another. I know for me, I was playing in church frequently. That was my musical outlet at that time. And then that was not available to me. And, I had a community of friends there that wasn't available to me. And I work out of my house. I always have. So for me, that didn't represent a change, but I couldn't go out. I didn't have the kind of leisure free time activities. So I bought an I/O device because I always wanted to record music, and stood in line at an electronics store with a mask on like a schmuck, 6 feet apart and all the other stupid shit we were doing back then, and bought one and started recording and got on YouTube and started making connections with music communities and then individuals within those music communities. And within a period of time, the other host of this channel, Dom, who's ill and he left a little earlier, became one of my best friends in the world. And I've made friends literally all over the world doing this. And it brought me into this community, and I think it knit us together. So, COVID sucked, but I try and look at the positives of what come out of any situation. And for me personally, that was a huge positive. I'm having the time of my life. And so that's where we are. Yeah, thank you, Epi, is a good point. You don't have to be a musician, just that you like music. Music is an important part of your life. A number of people in the chat are not musicians per se, but they just enjoy music, and they enjoy indie musicians like the rest of us are, and so we kind of hang out together. No, it wasn't quite that long ago. No, it was Micro Center is where I got this thing. And again, man, fair price on it. And, it's a Behringer, and the thing is bulletproof. I've been using it for a couple years now. And everything I've recorded has gone through this Behringer, and my live stuff goes through it. So it's a pretty solid device. Yeah, well, there you go. I think let's spend the rest of the show and let's do this, because I'm so glad you brought this up, Lorenzo. Why don't everybody in the chat, give a brief how you got introduced to the community, how you made connections, who you know, that sort of thing. I will point out, and Metalhead Hippie, Jeff, who Dogpaw is referring to here, his channel has been one of the linchpins of that, going back that was the first show of indie musicians that I got exposed to. And it was, I think, Dom told me about it. It may have been somebody else. It may have been Ron Ward. Doesn't matter. But Ron Ward and Metalhead Hippie were doing this. And then I knew about Jade Starr because I was trying to learn how to use some of my gear. And so I stumbled upon her channel for her tutorials. And that's how I found Pete Johns and Patrick Bard and some of the other guys. What's that guy? And he totally quit doing it. But Luan, that was his last name. But he did a lot of GarageBand and home recording tutorials early in the pandemic, and I hung out on his channel. But that's how I started to get connected with some of these people. Okay. All right. Yeah. What's Guitar Hack up to? I haven't seen much of him lately. So yeah, and Magic Jones is the other one. Is Magic Jones still around, or he's not doing the show like he was? Because that may have been slightly before my time, because the name has come up and everything, but I'm not sure that I ever saw one of his shows. But I certainly have seen Guitar Hack play. So, yeah, I think Hippie probably is going to come up as an answer for a lot. But yeah, Metalhead Hippie Show, and that was what was so cool is when I got into that, I was like, well, these are all dudes just like me, and they're just playing, and they're recording on their house, and this guy's giving them airplay. Wow, that's fantastic. And I certainly remember the first time one of my things was played on Ron Ward's show. It was pretty cool. And then Hippie played it the next week. It's like, well, damn, this, I could do something and people actually get a chance to hear it. This is very cool. And I really enjoyed it. So. Yeah, and I think some of the guy, again, the Dog Paw, as the kids would say, is an OG. He's been around for a long time, and there was he had a number of contemporaries that what I would call OGs that were kind of around before COVID hit, but that kind of coalesced everybody together in that time frame. So I think he's replying to me. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I'll have to go find that. Well, here's what I'm going to make that statement that I think a lot of us make. Is like, I really thought I was subbed to Magic's channel, but I haven't seen anything from him in line, which makes me suspect that I got dumped or I need to refresh the notifications or something. Because, yeah, I haven't seen anything from him for quite some time, and certainly not recently. So. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't that funny how that works? It was very counterintuitive that being isolated actually brought us all together, because we're not meant to be. Here's a little human factoid for you. We're not meant to be in isolation, folks. I mentioned, I was involved in a church at that time because, we all need community. We're born and we're supposed to be in community, and you need to find the right community for yourself. And for me, when one community was taken away or drifted away, there's a lot to that, and there's no point going into it. But I found myself in a better, larger, more diverse community that stimulates me a lot more than the previous community did, quite frankly. So I'm happy to be here. See, yeah, Cold Acre, and of course Jade Starr, who I mentioned a moment ago, have been buddies. They both live in Australia, have been buddies for a long time. So June of 2020. Okay, yeah. Well, that again, I don't know when the Aussies really got the hammer down. Here in the U.S., it was around. We knew something was going on. Well, we knew, my wife and I and some people here in Colorado, we knew something was funky going on back in November of 2019. But most people acknowledge it was March of 2020 that, the U.S. said, no, this is a thing and this is happening. So that makes sense. Hey, Brad Example, good to see you. Tell everybody when your next live stream is, Brad. And, because I've lost track of it, quite honestly, and I apologize for that. But, I only have so many brain cells, and, I damaged some of them when I was younger. So I can't remember if you're on a very regular schedule, and if so, what it is. So share that. Brad Example, great musician, guys, great songwriter. I love Brad's stuff. By the way, it's good that you're here in person, because the interview that when Jade revisited and revised, I love that interview. I just thought that was so cool. Learned a lot about you, and that's what I love about Jade's interview. You really get to know the artist. Her performance today, I felt like I really came away with a much better understanding of who she is and about her journey. And I felt that way after watching the interview with you. I got, somebody, there's some air quotes for you, Dom, if you're watching. Somebody from the community to extent, but you don't know them on that level until they tell you about themselves. And so I thought that was fantastic. I was glad to know you better and kind of get a sense of your musical journey. So, yeah, Dom is not doing well. He is a little bit under the weather, which is why it's me solo. He was here earlier tonight, and he got so congested, he kept having to turn off his mic to blow his nose. And I said, go away, get feeling better. So he called it an early evening. Okay, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, well, then I've got to go back on that channel because clearly it's dumped me, or I'm not getting the notification for some reason, and that does happen. Yeah, so about the same here in the U.S. So, all right. There we go. Every second Saturday for Brad example. So go check him out. If you're not subbed up to Brad's channel, guys, just go do it. Especially for Lorenzo or some of the new people here, you can find these people's channels, and they are very good musicians, and they are highly entertaining, and Brad is super entertaining. Okay. All right. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And yeah, it's a process like everything else. That's what we were talking about earlier this evening, Brad, is just challenging yourself and overcoming your fear or your reservations about doing something. So, you've developed this new show, you're playing live every other week. I applaud that. I think that's a great way to grow and connect with people. So, February. Yeah. Yeah, see, there was an outbreak because all the military guys were over in China, and they brought it back into Washington. And then, of course, there's a big military base in Colorado Springs. So you had outbreaks in Washington, and then there was a bunch in Colorado Springs. I was down there for the Outdoor Classic, the hockey tournament. Now, it was so friggin' cold that there's no virus in the planet that could have survived out in the cold there. But there was a lot of people sick in the Colorado Springs area right then. Nobody knew about it. It went through like a bridge club or something and killed, I don't know, a number of people. Anyway, so yeah, who knows? But yeah, a number of people at my wife's office were sick with what we now would say were COVID symptoms in November of 2019. So I look like hell. Well, who doesn't? Yeah, well, hey, you know what? You don't have to put on your pretty face and your makeup. Like Epi says, he's looked like hell since he was 12. I'm not winning any beauty contest, brother. I know that. So, yeah, there you go. And it's funny. Every performer is different. I certainly get nervous a little bit before I perform, especially like the G-May shows where it's a big thing and I'm going to be on for, 20 minutes or whatever. But I'm one of those kind of guys, and I think that's probably the ex-athlete in me. The lights come up and man, it's showtime, and I get jazzed and I get really pumped up by it. So the little bit of nervousness I have, I channel that very quickly into a positive thing. Now, the downside of that is, I'm bouncing off the walls after a show like that for hours. And I think I went on G-May's show, this last one, I think I was on at 9:30, I want to say. And I didn't go to sleep until 4 in the morning because I was so energized by it. But that's just me. Yeah, well, it was just, again, it was the Travelers. We think was the path into the U.S., but, other people were traveling on business and everything, and they were the ones that ported around the rest of the world. So, it's a mobile society, man. Now, that's what we're talking about. You might check and make sure that YouTube didn't conveniently unsub you or change the notification status, which it's been known to do both. So you might check. But yeah, everybody's on my channel as far as the chat goes, and as we know, we do that because StreamYard can't figure out how to combine the two chats when you do multi-channel stream. So, and there you can come find me there. Thank you, Camilla, for slinging the links tonight. That is always greatly appreciated. And the dog paw, always putting things in perspective, which I appreciate. He looks great, but man, that mirror is just not looking as good as it once did. So, now Heather also goes live, Feisty Feather. And I'll say hi to my friend Pole Vault. Hi, Pole Vault. But Heather has no schedule. Heather is just like, I got nothing better to do, sitting around the garage. I think I'll go live. And she tends to go fairly late at night, which is cool. And if I'm up, I love hanging out there. And sometimes even Heather likes hanging out there. Well, there you go. And again, I think YouTube rolls them over every once in a while. So it is what it is. But you can always change it. And I do, whenever I see people in the chat or if they release a new song or anything, I always like to double check and make sure that I'm still subbed to them, that the notifications are still set properly, because they can get doinked. There you go. A most random streamer. Nothing wrong with that. That actually, I think that's part of the appeal and part of the charm. It's like, you never know what she's going to do. That's kind of fun. It's our little inside joke, right? Some people get the joke. Those who don't. Well, yeah, I think, again, that event served to put things in perspective for people, in my belief. That, everybody looked at what they were doing and maybe rethought some things, and that maybe wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Well, being observant is not all it's cracked up to be. And yeah, it's good to have friends to go, hey, are you being all you can be? You were probably strongly on that path, right? Yeah, I'm one of those people. Honestly, I like people. I really do. Now, not everybody. Some people kind of suck and they're not likable. But as a rule, I like people. They certainly energize me. I'm an extrovert. People give me energy and everything. And I think that's probably. I don't think this community's 50-50. If you put a gun to my head, I would say more of the community is introverted than extroverted. So maybe people draw some energy from them over time. And again, that's just nothing wrong with that. That the world, like everything, it should be in balance, and you should have an equal number of extroverts to introverts, and we balance one another out. And who doesn't like dogs? Nobody I know. Nobody. If you don't like dogs, then yeah, you'd be one of those people like, yeah, maybe I don't like you. Well, and I can see that. There was certainly some humans I developed a dislike for in that time period. I will certainly say that. Okay. Well, I think we all get away with as little as we can, right? Well, there you go. You know what I mean. Yeah, that prostate, you get that checked. I have my PSA monitored, and I'm in wonderful shape. Although I'm due for a checkup this next couple months. I'm just going to put it up there. What you do in the privacy of your own home, none of my business. All right, see, you guys are setting each other up. Okay, well, hopefully it's not uncommon to have some inflammation there for various reasons. So hopefully that's all it is, and the medication does what it's supposed to do. I like dog videos, but I gotta say I prefer cat videos. I just do. I mean, I love both animals equally. I have cats, or I have one cat now, but the cat videos, they're sweet and they're funny, and then you realize that they're little house tigers too, and they're kind of ornery. And I think the cat videos are, from my view, a little more entertaining. Yeah, there you go. Don't lie, Coldacre. I don't think you've ever felt bad about anything, which is part of your charm. Okay, there you go. For the sake of YouTube, none of us here are doctors as far as I know. I'm certainly not one, and I'm not giving any medical advice. Thank you. Yeah, cats are always good for a lot of views. Ooh, Scottish Fold kittens. Oh, they're so cute. I'd love to have one. Those are funny, except for usually that doesn't work out well for the dog. Again, they're little tigers. My son's husky probably would take on the cats and certainly win, but yeah, that's usually the cat gets the better of that one. Very nice. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think we all are, Jade. It's, our knowledge base is thusly increased, as it often is when Brad joins the chat. Yeah, Scottish Folds cats, they are cute. They are cute kitty. And again, just one cat had a little genetic defect with the ears there, and then we've got this entire breed of cats out of it, and they're adorable. And let's everybody say hi to Jade Starr. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'll mention it again. Your show today, Jade, was unbelievably awesome. And I'm so happy that you're going to update the show and kind of chronicle the journey between I think you said 2009, 2008, 2009 to present. But what a great story to tell. And it just was fabulous in every way. So I applaud you for doing that show. It was great. So, all right. So, yeah, the walk with me. Yeah, you said you had to do some editing on that, and yeah, that's that's super time consuming to do that. Well, you're editing, and I don't want to pester you, but I wonder, did you go back to your usual stuff, or you continue to try CapCut and some of the other things? I'm just curious about that. Because I was digging the show on CapCut and the effects show you did, and doing the shorts with the others. So that was very cool. Yes, Pole Vault and his ants. It won't be this Monday because they did it this last Monday, but on Monday nights, if you want to laugh, if you just want to have fun, or if you're hungover, or some combination, hang out with Pole Vault and Sunshine on the Monday hangover. Because the show is just, again, they're a long-term couple. They're cute as hell together, and the show's just fun. It's just a fun hang. I enjoy it. I'm on it right after I finish dinner every other Monday. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Limit Fusion is a good program. And that's the thing. You've gotten to the point where every program has some strengths and some potential weaknesses, and it's true of all the DAWs and everything, but they're all good, and they're all very useful tools. And I think more it comes down to your personal preference and what you're used to. that's been something for me. What was the one? Da Vinci. Um, I used Da Vinci for a while, but I hated how it handled green screen and the color. It was complex, and there was a lot of weird stuff in that program, and I just, having used what Apple's freebie, which is, it's got its own kinks, but it's solid. And then I did Da Vinci for a while, and then I stumbled upon CapCut, and I was like, okay, well, this totally works for me. This makes sense to me, the workflow and how they arrange things, and that's been my go-to since. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the having too much choice is terrible. In my business, we're very cognizant of that, because if you give people too many choices, basically they end up choosing nothing, and you can't sell them anything, and that's terrible. Um, and I think especially men, I don't know how women are exactly, because I've never been one, but men tend to overthink some of that stuff, and it's paralysis via analysis. They're looking at all the specs and all these features and all this kind of stuff, and they end up not ever choosing or working with something. And at some point, just pick something and work with it and get the most out of it. And if you find it doesn't work for you long term, then go to something else. But yeah, just grab a tool. And we had a long discussion about guitars earlier tonight, kind of that same mindset. Get something that works for you. If it feels comfortable, it sounds good, stays in tune, it's the right tool, and be done with it. Don't overthink it. Oh, I didn't realize you were doing new music for each episode too. Well, that's very cool. Again, boy, that plays into earlier our discussion about challenging yourself and stepping out there. I think that's fantastic, dude. Very, very cool. And Shelly's back. No, not for me. It won't be TGIF for another hour and a half or so. But I'm thinking about it. I'm looking ahead to the future, into Friday, and I'm all about Friday. Yeah. Well, again, part of it is, and I think this is a thing for older, experienced gentlemen like yourself and myself, Dogpaw, is, we can get caught in the past with things, and like, well, it's not like the old days, and, you're comfortable with something and you've been driving it for a long time, and that's good. But at some point, technology becomes obsolete, and then you get forced to move into something else. And certainly going from the analog into digital, that happened to us. It happens with computers all the time. I make it a policy to try and learn new programs and new things every year, just to keep my mind agile and not stuck in this is the way I've always done it kind of rut. Because that's where my wife has been in a couple companies where people basically retired themselves because they couldn't or were unwilling to adjust to changes in technology and changes of the workflow and that kind of stuff. And they just said, screw it, I'm out, and, retired or left or whatever. And I don't ever want to be in that boat. I always want to have the ability to learn something new and do something new. Yeah, that's one too. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's now in your vocabulary? Somebody clue me in the chat what it is, because I saw it in the chat earlier and I don't know what that term means. So. Okay, so Coldacre. Well, that will be instructive. I look forward to that. I want to learn more about you, Coldacre. I've worked with you a little bit. You're kind of a bud, but I want to know more about what makes you tick. So, and Jade will yank that out of you one way or another, and that'll be good. Yeah, Dogpaw's had some interesting gear. Dogpaw has a lot of joysticks, and some of them are even guitar related. Yeah. There's some to that. All right. In case you're listening more than watching, Jade, I'll be the relayer. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Yep, all good. See you Thursday night, Jade Star. So there you go. Oh. Pretty High Woman. Oh, yeah. Pretty High Woman is good stuff from Al. Like a chocolate mint on your pillow. Yeah, you're going to go over and fart in Jade's cushions and drink up all her booze. So, yeah, I don't think you need the chocolate mint. Yeah. All right, I'm going through the chat and just seeing. Well, there you go. See, you can tell they've been pals for a while too. Just the sweet way that they talk to one another, like Dom and I. It's just, it's a loving, kind word relationship. Yeah. Oops. That thing jumped on me, and I was trying to press on this comment, and it came up, delete this account? No, I'm not going to delete Heather. No, that's not what I want to do. Oh, all right. See, they're throwing down the gauntlet on one another. Oh, you crazy kids. But I look forward to hearing that. I'm sure it will be a good interview. Okay, well, you're in for a good time, Goldacre. Nope. Had a comment. I'm going to be an editor and edit myself. They are so lovely to one another. Isn't it delightful to just, does my heart good. I so enjoy that. I think you're right. We could all learn a lot from that and how to treat one another. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Block it out of your memory, put it in the dark place. Hey, Costa, happy Friday to you. What's going on? How are you? Thanks for joining us this evening. I am going to play one more Hugh Caldwell song tonight, who is our featured artist, and then we'll come back and chat for a few more. So let me present arms, share screen, and let me share one of our friend Hugh Caldwell's originals. This is called The Eyes of Innocent, and this is from the Music for Life charity soundtrack, and he did this with Forest of the Wolf, a great track. And let me cue this up.
Life through the eyes of a child. beauty that's all around. Now has come the time. Let's unite, let's take a stand, have a say. Let's look at life through the eyes of innocence. Eyes of innocence. Let's pass through the eyes of innocence. Eyes of innocence. Through the eyes of a child. Life through the eyes of innocence.
All right, that was a great collaboration, super, and a super good album that Russ 8889 put together for victims of childhood cancer. My understanding is it's doing very well. It has raised thousands of dollars, which is just fantastic, and it's still available on Bandcamp. Name your price, go over. But you know, for a modest donation, I'm going to suggest $20, $25. 44 tracks on these two albums. That's a hell of a lot of great music from indie artists in our community, and a very, very worthy cause. And I thank Russ for putting that together, and all the artists who participated on it was super. And that was Hugh and Mark from Forest of the Wolves' contribution. Great song. So really enjoyed it. Get back to the chat for a second. I saw Shelly is making some strawberries, blueberries to make my dipped recipe that I put on my cooking channel, and that's just fabulous. Honestly, that's why I do it. It's like sharing. You know, I can't, like I said earlier, I can't have you over for dinner, but I can share what I do, and if you make it, then it's like we had dinner together. So that's very cool. I'm glad you're enjoying that recipe, Shelly, and simple to do. And insurance companies. Yeah, Dom shared earlier that all his neck surgery and everything, the insurance company's yet to pay the bill, and the hospital's like, $120,000, and it's like, hey, talk to the insurance company. But yeah, insurance companies, they kind of suck. That's what they do. They suck and then blow. Oh, so I see that Pole Vault's truck is not feeling better. So you got to replace the whole engine, huh? Well, that sucks. Not good. And yeah, as Epiphonium says, 44 tracks, folks. Pretty good. But yeah, I mean, this should be, goodness gracious, if I ever come on here and I'm negative or something, somebody send me a private chat, go, snap out of it, man. Because I'm here to bring positivity and good feelings and good vibes. Certainly, I won't pretend that I don't ever have bad days, or I don't get down or something, because that I'm never gonna lie to you like that. But I believe, for me, if you're going to be on this thing, you want it to be a positive environment. You want it to be a good place to go. It is entertainment after all, and we're here to forget about dealing with friggin' insurance companies, or the fact that we have to put a new truck in our, or a new motor in our truck, or whatever is going on in your life. This is a pleasant escape from that. It should be a fun, safe place, and I always do my best to foster that environment. And I know Dom feels exactly the same way. So I only caught part of it. I have to pick up my wife right at the time Mr. Smith comes on. So I caught, because he came on a little early, which was nice, I caught a part of the show, and I've got it stopped where I had to leave, so I'll be able to check it later. But I was digging the sound he was getting out of that bass. That was a cool sound. And that's an interesting thing. I'm looking to hear it in the conjunction with the whole track. I mean, we were hearing him play to the track, and the bass sounded like it fit in there good and everything. But I don't know about the rest of you, and I'm sure Jade can attest to this. There are times that you have just a killer good sound, and you're loving it, and it sounds good, and then you play it within the whole of the song tracks and everything, you go, well, that sucks. Doesn't work at all. And on any number of occasions, I've had a really cool guitar tone or sometimes a really cool bass tone, but it doesn't work in conjunction with the rest of the track. And everything's got to fit together. Everything's got to have its space. And sometimes you end up with kind of really funny sounding tracks on their own, but combined together as a whole, then it really works. So, I'll be interested to hear the completed track. Again, Mr. Smith's a pro. I'm sure it will sound great. And I was liking, I'm not much of an effects guy on bass, but I always used a little chorus, even when I played live, because chorus and compressors are really good on bass, and I was digging the sound he was getting. So, oh, look at that. This is entertaining with an exclamation point. Thank you for that, Epi. If he had said, this is entertaining with a question mark, then I'd go, oh, I'm failing. That sucks. But I already put that one. I apologize. Oh, those SOBs. Well, here, I'll tell a little story, because enough time has passed. My wife and I had been fairly recently married, maybe 5-6 years or something. And then all of a sudden, our auto insurance canceled us. Just got a letter saying you've been canceled. And Kay and I look at one another and go, did you wreck the car and I didn't know about it somehow? Or no accidents, no tickets or anything out of the blue. And so we call our agent. We go, what the hell are you doing? And they said, well, because of the drunk driving arrest. And we said, we have no idea what you're talking about. No one in this household of the 2 licensed drivers have been pulled over for drunk driving, much less arrested. And they said, well, that's what it says. And I said, well, that's absolutely incorrect. Well, it turns out that, in fact, my father had been stopped. They canceled my insurance. And, of course, I'm a grown-ass man. We hadn't been on the same insurance for literally a decade. I was really upset with the insurance companies and, got them in front of the insurance commission and read them the riot act and everything else. But, again, the big company, State Farm, still holding a grudge. It's been 35 years, but fuck you. Yeah, they don't care and they're bad at their jobs. So, Costa, you have our sympathy, brother. We know how it is. So, the tambourine. The tambourine. I think I've mentioned at least a couple times tonight, certainly in the past, that, I used to play in a church band and everything. And it was like an unwritten rule there that the pastor's wife somehow had to be involved in the worship team. And usually, they sang, although often not well, or they would play the tambourine horribly off rhythm. And as a bass player, that would drive me up a tree. So, yeah, I have, whenever I see the word tambourine or I see a tambourine, I have just a horrible negative reaction. But I'm sure Mr. Smith can play the damn tambourine on time. If he can't, I would have no idea why we're watching his channel. So I'm sure the tambourine was cool. So, of course you do. I've never owned one. I never will own one. Even though I could in fact play it on rhythm, but I just, like a victim of a crime. I have such a visceral reaction to the sight of that instrument. Well, there you go. See, I know people can do it. Just my personal experience. Yes, I do. I know from firsthand experience how they suck. All right, now I'm sure you'll put it on your next album, and I look forward to hearing that pole vault because not many people play the tangerine well. I mean, it's just one of those kind of instruments that you're either a tangerine virtuoso or you can't play a lick. And so I'm sure you're a virtuoso, and I look forward to hearing that. hey, it's an instrument. And yeah, I'm no doubt, Cobalt. There is no doubt about it. All right. Well, here's what I think we're going to do, folks. I love having everybody here, but we've been going 3 hours, which is about what we try and keep this show at, 2.5 to 3 hours. And I did most of it solo, which, yay for me. I know Jade does it all the time. Hippie does it all the time, you know, but those guys are awesome people. I'm just a clown who's pretending to be semi-awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one more Hugh Caldwell song, and I'll let our good friend Hugh play us out. It's something that he and I did together because it was fun, but I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to say a personal thank you to everybody in the chat. Shelley, thank you for being here. Epiphonian, always great to have you here. I love your comments. You had a lot. Pole Vault, great to see you. Camila from Down Under, great to have you. Costa, thanks for stopping in and hopefully getting your day brightened a little bit. And hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your day going forward. Who else is still hanging with us? Of course, Heather, Feisty Feather. Always great to have you in the chat. Our good friend Coldacre, who will be interviewed on Jade's channel shortly. So look forward to that, everybody. And then, who else? I'm missing some people. Let's see. The Dog Paw, of course. Always with the witty repartee from the Dog Paw. And Brad Example stopping in and saying hi. And he'll be live streaming every other Saturday. So check out Brad. Who else? DJ Big Red has been here all night. Appreciate you, DJ. Thanks for coming. Looking for the new person that joined us earlier tonight. You guys were active chatters, which is fantastic. Again, you guys make the show. I mean, normally it's just Dom and I. I mean, we could talk about all kinds of stuff between us, but it's just much better when you guys are here, and I think it's more interesting. And Ian's Guitar Shack was here a little bit earlier, stopping in and saying hey. And Lorenzo joined us for a little bit. I don't know if Lorenzo is still with us, but thank you for joining us and hanging out on the channel for a little bit. It was good to meet you. And hopefully you had a good time and felt a little bit at home. Glorious Mishmash, of course, the queen of fun and queen of wakes. I will mention both Conspiracy Music. Clay was here and Chad Freeman. Their show tomorrow is the Request Show. So request somebody else in the community that you enjoy their music and they'll play them. And then somebody maybe will request you. Request, will we? I use the word request. I didn't mean to use that word in that manner, but I did. And so now I got to go with it for a little bit. And so this bit doesn't sound totally stupid. And of course, my co-host, Dominic Torregrosa, who was here until he got feeling a little under the weather and had to bail a little early. But you folks are awesome. You make this show. I want to thank you all for being here. And we will see you around the old interwebs this week and here again next week. So I'm going to present you now the last Hugh Caldwell song of the evening. Something he and I did together just because why the hell not?
Now when the day goes to sleep and the full moon looks, and the night is so black that the darkness cooks, and you come creeping around making me do things I want to do. bringing us down. Just taking my love and slip away, leaving me here, trying to keep from following you.